This story would begin at the end of the battle against the legendary Saiyan Broly, in which he was able to put the warriors in great trouble. However, with the help of the fusion, they were able to defeat Broly, but the God of Destruction Beerus was very thoughtful, because Son Goku's power was beginning to grow in an incredible and excessive way. That's right, several months having passed since the battle against Broly, the Saiyan Goku would undergo rigorous training, both mental and physical, to be able to overcome each of his powers, and in the same way activate the Ultra Instinct at will, because this was an extremely difficult and complicated training, since even the gods were not able to reach that state of calm. Mr. Beerus, what's the matter with you? I've been thinking about him for the last month. Is there anything bothering him?
Whis, I really think Son Goku's a threat to this whole universe. But I don't have the required power to be able to do anything, because he has the support of the great Zeno-sama.
Mr. Beerus, I can't believe what you're saying, because if it weren't for Son Goku, the whole universe 7 together with you would have disappeared before the great Zeno-sama.
I understand, Whis, but if the useless Goku had not given him that proposal, we'd have never held any tournament. That was all his fault.
But the staff of Whis would resonate, which was a call from the great Zeno-sama, which asking them to come immediately to his palace. The deities left the subject of Goku aside, so at a great speed, they would leave towards the kingdom of Zeno-sama. At the moment of arriving, they were a little surprised to realize that there was only one Zeno-sama.
We've arrived, my lord, but excuse the question, what happened to the other Zeno-sama? Or has he left to analyze the other universes?
No. The other Zeno-sama lives inside me now, since we have decided to create a single warrior who is worthy of calling himself a king at all.
Whis and Beerus were surprised, but instantly Daishenka would likewise arrive in front of all the deities.
It's a pleasure to have him in the king's palace at all, but we have to talk very seriously about the Saiyan son Goku, since he can't continue to exist.
Exactly. Despite being my best friend, we cannot allow him to put the other universes at risk for his eagerness to become more powerful. That'll be harmful for all of us.
But my lord, you know that if we end Son Goku's existence, most of the gods will turn against us, because thanks to him, they were all able to return. All the gods would be represented thanks to the staff of their angels. That's right, all of them even agreed with the annihilation of this Saiyan Son Goku. I can't believe all of you who were revived want to take down your savior. This would be said Whis mentally, so instantly Daishenkin's eyes would turn a little red. That's right, even the high priest wanted to end the life of the Saiyan, so the mission would be given to the deities of Universe 7 to end Son Goku or send him to some dimension from which they would never be able to leave.
And remember, if you're not able to fulfill this mission, you will die.
The deities would leave for their planet, so at the time of arrival, Beerus felt much more determined to end Son Goku's life. But with the help of Whis' staff, he would realize how Son Goku had been able to access the Ultra Instinct on his own, which would leave him surprised since it was something impossible for a mortal to be able to reach such a state, much less achieve it without the guidance of an angel.
For this mission, I'll need the help of my brother Champa and your sister Vados, who's his angel.
Whis would say absolutely nothing, but after a few minutes that Whis would try to communicate with her sister, it would be impossible for her since she would not answer calls of. Mr. Beerus, apparently you're not available, because as much as I insist, my sister does not respond. I assume that she must be on a mission that the god Champa has ordered her.
Damn, I'll have to wait then, since I don't feel with the confidence required to beat Son Goku on my own.
But after a few hours, a big rumble would be felt all over the planet of Beerus. That's right, Champa and Fords had arrived on the planet.
What's going on, Beerus? Vados informed me that she has too many calls from you, so I have to come personally as it must be something important. I appreciate it. I need you to help me seal or end Son Goku's life, since it is the order that Zeno-sama has granted me. Yeah, I know. All the gods agreed for that reason. I also sent Kefla to an alternate dimension. Despite being Saiyan woman, her survival instinct was very fierce, so sent them to another dimension in which they'll die alone. Those Saiyans, they're very weak compared to Son Goku, who this time was able to even master the Ultra Instinct to the maximum power, so I need your help. I'm surprised that your Beerus, the most powerful god of the 12 universes, requires my help. But of course, if he counts on me, I want to see how we annihilate that Saiyan.
All the deities had to head towards the planet Earth, which would be received by Bulma at the moment of arrival, being surprised to observe two new beings.
I don't know who you are, but from their features I can deduce that you, miss, are not the sister of Whis, or you are the brother of Mr. Beerus. But tell me, how can I help them? Do not forget that this is as if it were your home.
There is no time, Bulma. We need to know where's Goku, since the king has completely requested his presence.
I understand, Mr. Beerus. So Sabia was in the mountains meditating, since she wants to access a new transformation. But I don't know, that's what she told me.
I thank you very much, miss. With your permission, we're retiring.
The deities in the moment in front of Goku, which left him a little surprised because his aura was not the same as always. Goku, having maintained that training, had been able to master the Ultra Instinct so much that in his base state he was able to dodge almost any attack. So Goku, when approaching to greet them, quickly dodged the fist of Beerus, which was loaded with a great destructive energy with direction to his heart. At the moment, Goku would take.
What's wrong with them? This is not a simple training. I could tell since they arrived their auras emit murderous intent, and it's directed towards me.
Both gods, without saying anything in the slightest, they launched themselves against Goku, who, despite possessing the Ultra Instinct, was not able to dodge all the blows, if most, but the few blows that connected him were of incredible power. So at the moment, Goku would be sent to a mountainous part, even being dragged, before Goku is able to do anything. Hundreds of blows of energy arrows began to head towards him. Goku would begin to dodge each of the arrows, but being too many, it was impossible for him. One of the arrows was through his heart. That's right, he was at 2 meters, but being so fast, Goku this time would not be able to do anything. But in front of these incredible purple aura would expand all over the place. So at the moment of that arrow colliding with their aura would be completely pulverized.
What happened? These arrows contain destructive energy. Goku couldn't be able to disintegrate them. He hasn't been able to awaken the energy of a god.
But the aura kept rising all over the place, causing a few wrecks all over the place. But the angels with their staves were able to create a great barrier. At the moment of dissipating everything, the Prince of the Saiyans, the great Vegeta, could be seen.
What happened, Kakarot? You being beaten up? You already forgot that only I could finish you?
Vegeta, what are you doing here? I thought you were on another planet training.
And so it was, but I was able to feel how your power is overshadowed by the energy of two deities. I knew that this wasn't about training.
Thank you, Vegeta. I don't know why the gods have turned against me, but now I plan to unleash all my power, and with your help, we'll be able to defeat them.
Of course, Kakarot. I want to fight with the cursed Beerus. Because of him, my father had to humble himself, and he was the one who ordered the destruction of our planet.
No, Vegeta! I want to fight with Beerus. I plan to return every one of his blows.
At the moment, Goku's hair would turn a planetary bright color. Well, Vegeta, he would only observe Champa, who was surprised, but his astonishment would not last so long. Because at that moment, the Prince of the Saiyans had dealt him a big blow, starting to beat him up. That's right, although the god Champa has thousands of years of training, he wasn't able to compare himself with his skill on the battlefield of the Saiyans. So at the moment, he was being surpassed by the Saiyan, while on the other hand, Goku and Beerus would stare at each other.
Before I end your life, I want to explain to you why you tried to end mine. What have I done? Even win the tournament of our universe?
There's no point anymore. All divine beings agree on this, since your existence is a threat to all universes. So we decided to end you.
I understand. That means that one way or another I'll die, but I don't plan on going to another world alone. You two will have to come with me.
The battle of both would start, leaving the angels surprised because the power of a mortal had been able to overcome even the power of the gods. After a few minutes, both Saiyans had been able to defeat their opponents, and charging a part of their energy, they would throw two powerful attacks with the intention of ending the life of the gods. But in front of both, Vados was able to stop that great attack without the slightest effort. That's right, the power of both was still very distant compared to an angel.
It's time for me to take charge of this. If it were a normal battle, you would have won. But at this moment, I plan to finish this job.
Vados, with a few blows, was able to leave Vegeta on the verge of death. While Goku instantly tried to move, he'd be tied by several energy chains being able to observe as Vados approached his good friend Vegeta.
Your Saiyan has interfered with the mission of the gods, and for the lack of respect, I'll end your miserable life. Kakarot! Please don't let these wretches get away with this. I trust you, Kakarot. I know you'll become the powerful Saiyan. I'm counting on you.
As you are a simple Saiyan, die knowing that the guy will not be able to do anything against us. We will even lock him up so that he dies isolated from everything he loves. Forward instantly, a powerful energy beam was able to end Vegeta's life in front of Goku's eyes, which, despite being filled with uncontrollable anger, would not be able to destroy the energy chains that were holding him. So Forwards would approach Goku. Are you angry? What's the matter? You don't worry, you'll be having your whole life to regret being so weak and not being able to save your friend. Vados with his staff would form a portal, sending Goku inside a powerful blow. At the moment, Goku would fall in a place similar to a planet, but there was no one. However, instantly Goku would be out of combat because despite having been only one blow, the power of Vados was unreal, which put him out of combat. However, in the same dimension was Kefla, the fusion of Khalifa and Kale, the Saiyans that Champa had sent that dimension. The fusion was able to feel like a new dimensional gap had formed. So at the moment of approaching, she was surprised to realize that the warrior who was unconscious was Son Goku. What is happening? I can't believe it. Even Son Goku's been sent to this dimension. Those guys don't have the slightest thanks to the warrior who saved their lives. Meanwhile, Kefla would stay by Goku's side, starting to meditate, while Goku wakes up. Meanwhile, the deities of Universe 7 had left for the planet of the great Zeno-sama to report the success in their mission.
Daishiken-sama, Zeno-sama, we've successfully completed the mission, so there's nothing to worry about. I thank you for your trust for granting me this mission. I knew I could count on you, Beerus. After all, you are the most powerful god among the 12. Now, you can come back. You'll be informed of any situation. As you order, Daishiken-sama. At this time, I withdraw.
Beerus along with Whis would leave back to their planet, not without having destroyed the entire planet Earth in its entirety. On the other hand, in that dimension, time passed much more slowly, so that the agony of the subject would be much greater. But after a few hours, Goku was able to react. But he was very confused and with a strong headache due to the blow from Forwards.
God, where is this? Has all this been a nightmare?
No, Goku. It wasn't any nightmare. Everything those bastards did to you happened. They have really betrayed us.
But if you're Kefla, that means Vegeta's dead. I couldn't do anything to save him. He gave his life for me.
I swear, I'll plan to wipe out all the Divine Energy warriors. You're not alone. Since I also want revenge, I want them to beg for their life and end up like they did with my planet. Both Saiyans were furious with a clear goal to take revenge on the entire divine world. Goku and Kefla, with a great determination to be betrayed by their gods, the beings for whom they gave their lives to try to get the victory in the Tournament of Power, had been discarded as if they were simple garbage. So at the moment, Son Goku's pure heart would change completely, because a hatred that he never thought he had would begin to run through his body completely, which even surprised Son Goku himself, since his body and aura was beginning to turn a little negative. But to his surprise, he would be totally calmed down from a warm hand that would touch his back.
No, Goku! You should not fall into the path of evil because of those guys. I don't know if in some time my thinking will change, because according to me, in this dimension, we must die because of age. But becoming a being of negative energy will not solve anything. I don't even know how you could be so calm. We gave our lives for them. We did everything to make them have fun, and that's how we get paid. I want to eradicate them. I also want to eradicate them. One thing has nothing to do with the other, but I don't let evil take over my heart, because that will end up destroying me completely. No, I'm a pure-blooded Saiyan. I've been able to overcome all the warriors who have considered me low class. I'm sure I could put the negative energy that runs through my whole body to better use. I know I could do it. In case you're sure that you'll be able to master all that power, count on my support, since in this place we only have each other. Thank you, Kefla, for your words. I promise that I'll not let anything or anyone hurt you. And I swear, we'll finish with those miserable, with everyone who agreed on this.
Both Saiyans would start with their great training, so each blow, each sphere of energy, were able to release the hatred and rancor they felt. That's right, both chose to increase their physical capacity to the maximum, since the Saiyans became much more powerful when they were injured and had fierce battles. On the other hand, on the planet of Beerus, both deities were walking around, but this time, Whis was much more serious. Although it was not something noticeable, Beerus, who had lived with Whis for thousands of years, he would realize,
Hey Whis, do you really feel bad about what we're gonna do to Son Goku?
Mr. Beerus, I'm only your guardian angel, so no matter how I feel, but I really feel that I failed as a teacher since I've never taught you that.
But Whis, understand that it's all for the greater good.
Beerus would try to get closer to Whis, but at the moment, Whis, with anger, would grant a blow to Beerus, which would leave him out of combat while instantly the whole sky began to flash and an incredible pressure would become present all over the place. After a few seconds, Daishinkan could be observed on the top of the planet.
Well, I knew that the last time I had seen you, you were very strange. Apparently the betrayal towards Son Goku's affected you too much, but you can't do anything.
I know I can't do anything, since all the angels are neutral, but I really can't, and if I have to die, I will die for my ideals.
It's a pity for you, being the second most powerful angel, to end up like this.
Father, you can't do anything to me in the same way, since it would break the angelic norms, and if a new angel wants to take over my position, he must first finish with me.
You're correct.
In that case, I have nothing to worry about, since I am the most powerful angel of the 12 existing, and what I am the second I don't think, since even you have told me that I am the most powerful one. At this moment, you want to scare me. But at the moment, a new portal would begin to form in the middle of both angels, so a beautiful angel would begin to appear from the portal, an angel whom Whis had never seen in his life, but was able to feel how his body trembled, while each of his instincts warned him that he should flee from that place. What is this feeling? Who is she? I'd never seen her, nor had I ever heard of an angel with such characteristics. Father, long time no see. It's a surprise to return to the universe of the mighty Zeno-sama. Apparently I'll have to be the teacher of that god that's lying over there.
You're right, Mikoshin, but Whis seems like he doesn't plan to give up his position so easily. So, you'll have to beat him.
Little brother, don't get beaten. Better give up your post and go to the angelic kingdom, because otherwise I won't leave a trace of you. Don't say stupid things. I'm the most powerful angel. No matter who you are, you won't be able to do anything against me. So you better get ready. Oh, you made me laugh. Then the most powerful angel? Don't say ridiculous things. I have that title, and none of the angels have been able to take the name I've earned. Before Whis is able to respond, Mikoshin had lunged at him, being able to graze Whis' cheek, making a few drops of blood fall. But without Whis being able to react, a big kick was able to send him flying, thousands of meters all over the planet, while Mikoshin was fixing her hair. Oh, you really have some ability, but that'll be nothing to stand up to me. You are more powerful than ordinary angels, but I'm the most powerful angel. Was Daishinkan saying was true? I am the second most powerful angel, and this one is the first, but why am I hiding something so important from myself? I hope you have thought about your way to survive, as I have hundreds of years without stretching my bones. The battle between both angels would begin, so that the very first clash of their fists, hundreds of devastations would be created through Universe 7. Their battle would expand throughout Universe 7, however Whis, despite possessing the Ultra Instinct, wasn't able to give battle that powerful angel, which in each exchange of blows was able to give him some blows powerful enough to make him retreat several meters. Instantly, Mikoshin, releasing a little more of his power, was able to connect a certain blow in the stomach, which at that time of the impact with the planet had destroyed it in its entirety. It hurt me too much. I never thought that an angel would be able to overcome me this way. This is something that I'm not able to assimilate. Well, apparently you've been able to withstand a blow of 67% of all my power. You must be proud, since no one besides our father has been able to withstand all that incredible power. If what she says is true, I have nothing to do against her. since her power surpasses me by tens of times. Mikoshin would begin to approach Whis, which at the moment of raising his gaze, Mikoshin would prostrate his foot on Whis' body, and by exerting incredible power, he would even begin to sink the ground, since the power that Mikoshin was beginning to radiate was amazing. It's time to end your pathetic life, and just so you know, you don't even serve me as a warm-up. You're a simple punching bag. Whis instantly would be pulverized into a large sphere of energy, so at the moment, a huge explosion would be created all over the place, causing great chaos around him, while Mikoshin among the fire started to approach towards Daishinkan. Ready, father? I'm done with that hassle, so by the time this pathetic god wakes up, I'll start granting him the required training.
I think it's excellent, Mikoshin. So, I'm retiring, and I leave Beerus in excellent hands.
Daishinkan would leave again for the kingdom. Meanwhile, in the dimension in which the Saiyans were, Whis would appear in the middle of the battle between both Saiyans.
What are you doing, Whis? Have they sent you to finish this off once and for all? Well, let me tell you, that won't be so easy for you.
Goku would expel all his power in the Ultra Instinct, creating a big fuss all over the place. That's right, Goku's power in this short period of time had increased in an incredible way. Goku would pounce against Whis, however, every one of his punches, they only pierced Whis. That's right, he wasn't able to hit any.
No, Goku, stop! Apparently this is not the Whis we know. I feel something strange, emanating, and it's not the pressure of an angel as we usually feel it.
Goku would stop, but he would let his guard down. Instantly, an incredible power would enter Goku and Kefla's body, which had left him shocked. This is all my power. I have given 80% to Son Goku and 20% to Kefla, because if I give him more, his body can explode. I have been annihilated by the Divine Kingdom, being against his betrayal. I know that you will be able to leave this place. Before Goku is able to say anything, the image of Whis would appear completely, while a few tears would start running down his face.
That's why Whis didn't interfere. Apparently they were annihilating all the warriors who don't agree with their decisions. Goku, the only thing we can do now is avenge Whis' death, and we must take the power of an angel to a new level. We can't let his death be in vain. Of course, it'll be like that, Kefla. We'll have to be able to avenge Whis' death. I promise. I swear that I'll finish with every one of those useless wretches.
Meanwhile, in the Kingdom of the Whole, Daishinkan along with Zeno-sama were very thoughtful. That's right, the Zeno-sama of the future had absorbed his counterpart of the present, and Daishinkan had a little evil. It was easy for him to manipulate it. But this time, both kings, they wanted to get the maximum power of a being of dark energy, or also known as the demonic energy.
But my lord, are you sure you'll be able to master all that power? This is extremely risky.
Of course it's risky, but if we don't do this, we'll always have this power, and we won't stop being the weakest multiverse. Is that what you want?
No, of course not, but I don't wish to die.
In that case, we have to take a risk because otherwise, we'll still be the same old scumbags, and I'm not going to tolerate that. So let's do it!
Daishinkan, together with Zeno-sama, had entered the dark dimension of the Kingdom of the Whole. That dimension was capable of corrupting any warrior. But if they were able to master the minimum negative power to 75%, they were able to leave that place with an unreal power. An extremely monstrous power, on the other hand, returning to the dimension in which both Saiyans were, they seemed to master all the power of Whis. But this time, both were following a rigorous training, which consisted in increasing the transfer of energy in order for their bodies to be able to withstand much more energy. However, Kefla's body would begin to have various side effects, as her body would begin to expel large amounts of blood, and all the power she had been able to collect would begin to steadily decrease.
No, no, no! What's going on? Why is this happening? My strength, my power starts to fade. My body hurts.
Goku, at the moment of realizing this, he would approach Kefla at a great speed. But at the moment of being about to engage in a big conversation, a big scream would be heard all over the place. Even returning Kefla to her base state, while much more blood spreads from all over her body, Goku, not knowing what to do, he would realize that Whis would appear once more in front of him. Son Goku, this is the last reserve of my spiritual energy. Apparently, Kefla has not been able to withstand even 20% of the power of an angel. You will have to absorb it yourself, or Kefla will die. But if you absorb 10%, it will still be an excess of energy in your body. If I absorb 10% of Kefla, I would have 90% of the power of a guardian angel. No matter what power I get, I just have to save Kefla. I'm not gonna let her die. Goku, with much more determination, would access the Ultra Instinct maximum power, with which his aura would rise all over the place, so that his body would be able to withstand all the amounts of energy. So Goku would begin to absorb the excess energy that Kefla's power possessed. However, Goku's negative energy would become present once again inside.
Son Goku, you and I will become one being again, and I'm not gonna let that Saiyan die. So get the stamina that since our birth belongs to you.
Goku's hair at the moment would absorb 11% of the power of an angel from Kefla's body, but instantly his muscles would enlarge in an incredible way. While his power seemed to have no limit, Goku's body looked like it would be about to explode. However, instantly, from an incredible beast roar, Goku's hair would turn a pink color, while the negative energy became much more aggressive.
That's the power of the Saiyan that was considered lower class.
Goku's power would begin to destroy everything around him, while Kefla had been knocked out due to the excess energy. Goku had been able to absorb 11% of Kefla's power, which on this occasion even Goku's body would begin to be very compromised. Because 91% of an angel's power existed in his body, however, instantly an incredible aura would form inside Goku. A very negative aura, since the power of an angel, he wanted to take over Goku's body, or rather, he wanted to make it explode, since the amounts of energy were overwhelming, but at the moment that all the incredible power, it would begin to take a form inside Goku. A much more powerful warrior, the authentic Kakarot, was able to release a much greater power. That's right, as surprising as it may seem, the offspring of Son Goku was not weak at all, only that the purest divine energy ran through his body. That's right, the original Saiyan God energy.
So this is the simple power of an angel. He wants to make my body explode. It's a pity that I find myself in this place.
All the power of an angel, he was able to take the form of a black-haired warrior. Although his energy seemed that of an angel, in the same way his essence emanated an incredible evil. I'll explain. We are the power of an angel. While we live in the body of our carrier, we never have these problems. But by Whis trying to grant the power of these two weaklings, we can control the body or make it explode.
How funny that is. I want to witness how you'll be able to explode the most resistant body that exists in all this pathetic multiverse.
Don't make me laugh. You're a mere mortal, but instead of blowing up, I'm planning to finish you. Your garbage consciousness. Take over this body and be able to go out into the outside world.
It's a pity that just at this moment, you become part of us, since your power belongs to us, and there's nothing you can do, worm.
The consolidation of power of the angel had launched against Kakarot. But this warrior, without any problem, was able to stop the fist of his enemy with only one of his hands, which left him surprised because this being believed himself superior for possessing the energy of an angel. But a mortal had been able to stop his fist without any effort. You left me surprised, but that's the luck of Rookie. When he was about to mock him a little more, he would be thrown hundreds of meters towards a part of the mental battlefield, creating an incredible destruction for everything around him. Because at that moment, the blow that Kakarot had connected to him contained an overwhelming power. The angel would begin to try to stand, but blood in too much quantity began to come out of his entire body, which would leave him very surprised. What does this mean? This can't be true! I'm the channeling of the power of an angel! The power of a mere mortal shouldn't hurt me so much! Kakarot would begin to approach the warrior who, with a big smile, would prostrate himself in front of the warrior who believed himself to be superior.
Do you think that I'm a mere mortal? Jams, we need the help of an angel. But if the power has been granted to us with good intentions, I'll end any energy consolidation that wants to take advantage of us.
No, that's impossible for you, since you're not a pure divine energy being. We angels are not even born with the power beyond the gods. Kakarot, as if in a flash, would begin to grant hundreds of blows. All over his body, the warrior was not able to see absolutely anything because the speed that Kakarot possessed completely overwhelmed him. At the moment, the angel would release 91% of all the power of an angel because it was all the power that was in Goku's body. An angel is able to even defeat a god of destruction with only 5% of his power. What will you do now that I'm losing 91%?
I don't want you to tremble. Is this the ultimate power of a simple angel? You're really nothing but a wimp. You better at least make me stretch my muscles.
The furious angel had launched himself against Kakarot, which at the moment both began to fight in an incredible way. For his part, outside the room, Goku was concentrated, since a false step and was able to explode since the consolidation of energy was not yet part of all his power.
I have to wait for Kakarot to be able to beat him. I feel like my whole body feels tense. If I get distracted, I could explode.
Returning to the battlefield, the angel seemed to have the advantage. So while they exchanged blows, he began to laugh like a maniac. However, what he didn't realize was that Kakarot was a Saiyan, the perverse side of Goku, which was much more calculating, or he was just cornering him with his simple defense, since his strategy was to humiliate him completely. At the moment, the angel was able to send to him the ground, creating a big explosion. That happens to you underestimating the power of us divine beings' energy. At this moment, I will end your life, and I will keep this body. The angel, at the moment of approaching, would be repelled with the simple aura of Kakarot, which would rise all over the place, while the gaze of an imposing warrior could be observed.
Is that all? You even let me hit to feel some hurt, but you haven't been able to make me feel anything. That's a shame.
The impressive warrior was about to say something, but he had only felt incredible pain, which even almost crosses his abdomen. That's right, in one blow without holding back, Kakarot is almost able to knock this warrior out of combat, while he writhes from the pain.
What's going on? I thought you were much more powerful than this. Apparently I had crazy expectations of you. But what can I expect from an inferior being like you?
How has he been able to cause me all this damage in one fell swoop? The power he possesses is incredible. Is he really capable of defeating an angel?
It's time to finish with you, because I have something pending for the whole divine world. But for your pride to be shattered, you have to know that with you, I don't use even 50% of all my power.
That warrior was surprised, but instantly he would be pulverized from a large sphere of energy. The next moment, all the energy of the angel would begin to merge with the power that Goku possessed. That's right, even while Kakarot would feel all the power.
We don't need it. It's not bad to have a lot more power. I want to face Daishinken. Apparently Kakarot's been able to beat that miserable. This time to start training this new power while Kefla rests.
Goku would leave while he had left Kefla in one of the rooms of the castle that was in that place. Goku, at the moment, would start again with his great training to be able to overcome each of his limits. For this part, outside, more specifically on the planet of Beerus, he'd been able to wake up, being surprised to observe Mikoshin.
From now on, I will be your new angel, and with whom you will train.
I understand, but I usually don't train since I'm the most powerful god among the 12 gods. So I don't need to become much more powerful.
It doesn't interest me if you're the most powerful warrior or not. It's not a question. From this moment, you will start training.
But you're my guardian angel. You shouldn't be able to give me orders. On the contrary, the being who should give you orders is me.
Don't make me laugh. A queen like me would never be under the disposition of a simple god. I have accepted to be your angel, since Daishinken has asked me, but my request was that if my god does not do as I say, I have total freedom to end his life. The expression of Beerus would change to an expression of terror, because if Whis had not been in place, it only meant one thing, and that was that the angel who was in front of him had been able to end his life, since it was the only rule in which an angel cedes his position.
But if even Whis isn't able to beat her, much less will I be. Apparently I have no choice but to retrain, although it's not a bad deal after all.
So what do you decide? Do you want to keep your stupid angel company, or will you start training with me from now on?
I'll start training with you, to be able to break every one of my limits.
That seems great to me. In that case, let's start right now. The training of the deities of Universe 7 would begin, with which both wished to increase their physical strength, as well as their power, for their part, in the realm of the All. In the infernal room to which Zeno-sama had entered together with Daishinken, inside it seemed the same underworld, since in that place even the beings of greater divine energy were turned into simple excrement.
My lord, I feel like my whole body even starts to be affected by this great pressure. Even my power is not able to form a powerful enough barrier.
Daishinken, we both meet like this. Even I was forced to access my combat status, but we have to keep going, since we're very close.
I understand, my lord. I intend to try my best. I want to be able to overcome all my limits.
In that place, thousands of years passed in which it seemed that sometimes they were going to die. Since the extreme conditions of that planet, it was not for simple amateurs. On the contrary, they were for warriors who were prepared to even die on the battlefield, since they longed for much more power. However, despite all that negative power to 70% while Zeno-sama to 80%, at the moment both were with the mastered power and felt satisfied. So instantly they were able to summon the portal to return towards their palace. But the instant the portal would form, it had absorbed them, and upon reaching the realm of the whole, the power of both of them was powerful enough to make everything shake around them. Even all the gods and angels would be terrified all of that power.
Wow. Is that the power of the mighty Daishinkan-sama? This is amazing. But if it's only been 5 days since we saw it, how did it raise its power so much?
Apparently, even my father wants to become much more powerful, but I don't know the training he has followed, because to increase his power in such a way in this short period of time is incredible. All the gods and angels were shocked of the new power of Daishinkan. The only one who was calm was the powerful Mikoshin, since her power was still far above that level. Apparently, Daishinkan and the useless Zeno have decided to enter the infernal dimension, but I'm surprised that beings with such a pure heart have been able to master the negative energy at a good level. How funny this is.
Mikoshin-sama, do you even know whose power that is? According to my perception of energy, that's the power of my great priest. But only 3 days ago, he was on our planet.
Don't get confused, Beerus. That is the power of Daishinkan. Apparently, he is undergoing a rigorous training, together with the king of all Zeno.
That is amazing. Why do you want to become much more powerful? I don't understand.
Returning to the kingdom of the whole, Daishinkan, realizing all the destruction he had caused, was able to reduce his power to the lowest, being able that no universe is affected by his power.
Wow. The new power is amazing. It amazes me the power that can be mastered in that dimension.
I told you, the power that we'll be able to obtain is incredible. Now we just need to take over all the multiverses.
Zeno-sama, do you think we're capable of mastering all the other multiverses? Since if similar dimensions exist, the warriors must be powerful.
Don't worry about that, Daishinkan, as I've always been able to make myself look like the weakest king at all, although my power has always been able to overcome them, and with this new power, we'll be able to crush them.
I understand, my lord. Then I'll want the day to come, at which we'll crush beings from other multiverse.
On the other hand, returning to the dimension, Kefla, after several months out of combat, was able to wake up since the damage that her body had received had been serious. So when she woke up in the same way, her headache was incredible. My head hurts, but what happened? But Kefla was surprised to realize how Goku on this occasion had been able to get incredible power. That's right, even his aura created a silhouette of it, but the condensed power was incredible. What? How long was I out of action? The power that Goku has achieved is amazing. I can't believe it. Kefla would begin to approach Goku, who at the moment of noticing Kefla's presence would decrease his incredible pressure, so that Kefla would not be affected in the slightest. Goku, how did you get all that power? How long was I unconscious? I got it thanks to training, and you're out of combat for about 5 months. Kefla was surprised, but Goku would immediately put his hand on her shoulder. Don't worry, from now on we'll train together, and we'll be able to break each of our limits. Now if the Divine Kingdom should be prepared. And that was how Goku at this time would begin to teach Kefla to master all the power she possessed as a legendary Saiyan. Kefla, with the help of Goku, would begin to have an incredible increase in power. While Goku had been able to master all the power that Whis had given him, but millions of years had passed in that place, because for a mortal to be able to master the power of an angel, they had to go through thousands of calamities. However, by both possessing the energy of an angel, they could not grow old. In short, they had the eternal youth. Goku, I already feel very powerful. It's time for us to get out of this place. I want to be able to get revenge on that fat guy. We have to have the power required to wipe out all the gods and angels, but I don't know if we possess the power required to be able to defeat the beings of the divine realm. You're right, but believe me, Goku, I can't wait to see the face of the useless guy from Champa.
let him observe how I've been able to overcome it completely. Let's do something, Kefla. Let's train for a few more years, and the power we get in that time will get out of this place. Oh, it's okay, Goku. Since I've even been able to master the Ultra Instinct by mixing it with my legendary Super Saiyan status, I'm able to expel much more energy. That seems great to me. So at this time, I'll try to manage completely merge with my evil version, since we'll need all the required power. Goku would begin to meditate, so at that moment, he was able to go deep into his mind, observing the being identical to him. But the only difference was that the power he gave off was incredible, but at the same time very negative, which would make him put himself on guard.
Goku, you don't have to put yourself on guard. I would never do something against you, because if you die, I do it with you, and it doesn't make sense for me to kill my carrier.
I want you to explain to me who you really are. I know that you're my Saiyan part, but how are you able to create a self-awareness as well as an incredible power?
From the moment in which you hit your head, you changed completely, because in all that time, the personality that ruled was mine, the authentic Saiyan essence. But when the blow was so powerful, I was able to create a new consciousness. When I was a little stunned, you were able to take control completely. But before falling into spiritual sleep, I was able to take over 70% of all your original power.
Goku would be surprised by everything his counterpart had told him.
That means that of all the power I currently possess, you possess 70% more energy.
The only thing I can tell you is that I'm better than you in every possible way. But if we reform a single warrior, our potential will grow enormously.
Okay, I agree to recreate a single being, as it should have always been. I want to be much colder, so I don't hesitate to end those miserable guys.
Together we'll be able to take revenge. So let's start!
Both warriors began to unite, or rather, they returned to their original form, while outside the room was rumbling because of all the incredible power that was expelled all over Goku's body. While his energy would change a little, since being currently pure-hearted, it would not change in a great way. But if he possessed some evil, like his aura was that of a dark being, on the other hand, both warriors were able to unite completely, returning to being Kakarot, the original warrior.
That's been exhausting. Since now I'm not able to listen to Kakarot, but apparently everything has turned out to be a success, since the power that runs through my body is unparalleled. Wow, Goku! Have you been able to have all that power in this short period of time? But what have you done? I feel how your essence has changed, and now you exude a little negativity all over your aura. Kefla, you've been with me for millions of years, so it's no use that I want to hide from you what has happened.
Goku began to explain to Kefla everything that had happened with his counterpart. But before Goku was able to finish, Kefla would kiss him, which would take Goku by surprise. While inside, he had felt something that he had never experienced, while his essence massacred diminished considerably. If you had done this when we just met, I would have been afraid of you, because your power is gigantic, and if you become a king of negative energy, I'd be afraid for my life. But now that I know how you are, I have nothing to fear. I love you. Goku was surprised, so he would stare at her.
I don't know what this feeling is, but I just know that I'd be willing to give my life for you. I swear I'll protect you above all, so you don't have to worry. In that case, Goku, we're prepared to leave this room together and win the victory against the beings of divine energy who tried to finish us off. Of course, Kefla. I promise that we'll finish with those miserable ones, and we'll be able to recover all the time we've been locked up. At first, it was torture, but after all, it was not wasted time since I was able to get to know you better. I would repeat it 1 in 1,000 more times without hesitation. Me too, Kefla. But it's time. Now I'll break the dimension, but I want us to make our energy null to give the surprise of those dies.
Goku, by expelling a little of his power in the Super Saiyan Blue, was able to crack the dimension into millions of fragments. So at the end moment, both were able to disappear their energy completely, returning to the 12 universe that belonged.
I feel my body's very light, so this is what happens when you train in a dimension that is designed to end the life of all the warriors who enter. You don't have to be surprised with so little, because when you release all your power, this would be absolutely nothing. But do you want us to go to Universe 7 first, or do you want to go to Universe 6? I'm sorry, Goku, if I make you retract, but please, let's go to Universe 6 first. I want to finish that one guy once and for all. Don't worry, Kefla. Since I've been able to wait for millions of years for this moment, I'll wait a few more hours. That's absolutely nothing. Both warriors began to fly with pure physical speed, and despite that, their speed was incredible, since it seemed as if both of them teleported all over the universe, which they were unable to reach in a matter of seconds, so in the instant they arrived towards the border of Universe 6, Goku would give a big smile. I don't know how much you've made my Kefla suffer, but you won't be able to do anything to save yourself, since I'm planning to seal this whole pathetic universe. Goku, with a small sphere in his hand, was able to throw it towards the whole universe of Champa. So at the moment, the small sphere was able to mix with the galactic dust, so a powerful barrier had been formed throughout Universe 6 without the deities noticing. At this moment, they were the prey. It's time, Kefla. At this moment, even if we release our power, they won't be able to feel it on the outside. It's okay, Goku, but I still want to arrive with Champa's face to face. I want to know what he'll tell me when he has me in front. Goku would nod his head, so both were able to reach the planet of the god Champa, being a little surprised to realize how Champa, despite being one of the laziest gods, they had realized how he'd been able to achieve great power. However, they did not know that in the same way in the outside world several months had passed, although of course nothing compared to the millions, but at the moment Champa and Vados were able to realize how far away two warriors were watching them.
I'm in terrible mood at the moment, as I hate training. Because of that Daishinken, he's forced all the gods to train.
Champa at an incredible speed would fall down behind both warriors, but at the moment Kefla would stare at him, which left Champa surprised. Just as a shiver ran through his body, Champa at the moment would retreat, placing himself on the side of Fords.
Fords, this is impossible. What are those warriors? It's a stupid fusion of Kale and Khalifa Saiyans. This must be a joke.
But don't worry, Champa-san. This is still just mere mortals who don't have the power required to face us. So instantly Vados would teleport to one side of Kefla, but to her surprise, at the moment Vados would try to attack her, Kefla was no longer in the same place, and she had only felt as a powerful blow had made her fall to the ground at an incredible power, creating great chaos all over the planet. At the moment, both warriors would go down to the surface of the planet. So long without seeing you, Champa. It's a pity that'll be the last time for you. Kefla, I'll take care of Ford since I know you have unfinished business with that fat guy. Exactly, Goku. That's right, and you. I hope you're prepared, as I intend to end your miserable life once and for all. Champa would expel all his power because he wasn't able to feel Kefla's power. However, his incredible pressure would make him shudder. However, even though Champa had expelled all his power, it had not been enough to defend himself from the brutal beating that Kefla had begun to grant him. That's right, Champa's power was completely nothing, since compared to Kefla's true power, his power was tiny for his part. Goku and Vados would stare at each other. Really, the worst mistake that Whis made was to have trained you, since apparently you will be the downfall of all the gods and angels. But don't think that you will be able to beat Daishinken, since a useless person like you is not able to do anything against him. Either that or you say that because you really haven't seen my power. It's a pity that you're not able to understand a much higher power than yours, but it's time to end your miserable life. The battle of both in the same way had begun, but effectively the power of Fords was not able to compare against the incredible power that Goku possessed, because on his occasion, he was not able to do anything to defend himself. So Goku would hold her by the hair, starting to drag her all over the planet of Champa. On the other hand, the Battle of Kefla seemed to be very even, but it was only Kefla's tactic since she wanted to end her life as well as humiliate him in the worst possible way. So she was giving him false hopes to Champa, of which Kefla had noticed when Champa would exclaim the following:
You have great power, but it's still not so amazing to know that in that room they stayed for millions of years. You're still a good for nothing.
That's just what I wanted to make you believe, since this isn't even 5% of all my power. But since I realize that you're bragging, right now I'll show you 10% of my true power.
Champa was surprised, but at the moment thousands of planets began to be destroyed, while the simple pressure that was released from Kefla's entire body was enough to make him fall to his knees without being able to move.
What has happened? I thought that my power was extremely low, but apparently you are much weaker than a simple ant, since you have not been able to do anything before 10% of my power.
I should have finished with you when I had the chance.
I agree with you, but at the moment it's too late. Die, miserable!
Kefla with the small energy arrows was able to end Champa's life, leaving absolutely nothing of it, since his energy was even much more chaotic than a well-known energy of destruction, which was the energy used by the gods. So at the moment, Kefla would realize how Goku completely humiliated Vados. At the moment, Goku would realize that Champa's energy had completely disappeared.
It's time to finish you, but don't be sad because in a very short time, all your brothers will be with you keeping you company, just like Daishenkin.
Before being able to say anything, it had even evaporated by a great spiral-shaped aura which had grown all over the planet of the Champa god.
It's time. You don't know I've been waiting for this moment. I hope you're ready, Beerus. Goku, I thank you. Now if we end with the life of that useless Beerus to start eradicating all the other gods.
Both began to head towards the planet of Beerus, which, despite not having arrived yet, the resistant planet of a god of destruction was beginning to destroy.
What's going on? Can't figure out why my planet's being destroyed.
The power that is approaching is gigantic power. It's certainly 80% of all my power, and even at 100%, but who will be that warrior?
That was how the whole Universe 7 this time would start going through big anomalies all over the place. The incredible power that Goku had been able to release had been able to make the resistant planet of the god Beerus be destroyed. However, in the same way, an extremely incredible power would begin to travel all over the planet, so it would prevent the planet from collapsing completely. At the moment, Mikoshin of an incredible aura would begin to approach, being in front of Goku, being equally surprised due to all that power.
Wow, this is amazing! I never thought that the power of a simple Saiyan would be able to reach these limits. But tell me, what do you want? So you're the new angel, the replacement of Whis. It's a pity that these guys haven't told you anything, but since they have no reason to end your life, I just want you to not interfere in my revenge.
Goku would point his hand towards Beerus, with which he was able to make an incredible pressure fall all over Beerus' body. However, at the moment, Mikoshin with a powerful kick was able to make him retreat a few meters.
I don't know who you are, but you're completely confused if you think I'll allow you to end the life of the god of destruction. Apparently you've chosen the path of death. It's shame, because in that case I'll have to finish you in the worst way possible.
Goshen, don't trust yourself, since that Saiyan's the one we locked up by orders of the High Command, because his powers seem to have no limits.
Aha, now I remember. You are the warrior who got the victory of the Tournament of Power that was given several years ago. This'll be interesting.
Goku would immediately pounce on Mikoshin, who both exchanged a few blows as they were testing their enemy, quickly appearing.
I can tell that your power is much higher than that of many angels, but it's a pity that you also don't have the power required to defeat us. And that's what makes mortals come to an end, because they think that they're in control of everything that surrounds them. And it's a shame, since it's not like that.
Mikoshin at the moment would at least try to triple his speed, being able to send Goku flying thousands of kilometers. Kefla would become enraged, releasing a large part of her power, being repelled with a great facility by Mikoshin. On the other hand, Goku had created a large crater due to the power with which Mikoshin had hit. Goku, expelling much more of his power, was able to raise an incredible light throughout the crater that had been formed.
I can tell you're really powerful, but we've been training for millions of years in a dimension that's worse than hell anyway. I doubt that it's worse than hell, but show me what you could do. I want to prove to you since my training has been given to its limits.
At the moment, both would observe with a very determined look, throwing themselves one against another. That's right, the power they both had was incredible, because each of their fists were capable of destroying parts of the planet of Beerus. So the moment the battle would spread throughout Universe 7, while Beerus wasn't able to move any of his fingers.
Oh, this is bad. If Son Goku's able to defeat Mikoshin, I'll be eradicated. Oh, this is bad. I have the power to face Son Goku.
The look of Beerus' expression in incredible terror, while for part of Kefla would try to follow the battle. but several of the blows wasn't able to follow him because the speed that both possessed were of an extremely incomprehensible level. At the moment, both were able to connect a powerful blow, but the difference in power had been incomparable, since instantly Mikoshin had collided with several mountains, being dragged a few kilometers, while for his part, Goku had created great chaos all over the place. Even the rocks turned into simple sand by the power of Mikoshin.
I hurt a little, but apparently I'm still more powerful than you with my physical strength. Aren't you ashamed that a lady's more powerful than you?
Goku would expel a large amount of blood all over his body, as the damage he had received was incredible. Several veins of his body had burst from the impact.
That hurt me too much. I can't believe the power you possess. This must be crazy since no one's capable of having such physical strength. I can't believe that thing had been able to overcome Goku's physical strength. But if Goku's the most physically strong Saiyan I've ever met, it's a pity for you that I, the mighty Mikoshin, has undergone rigorous training in the same hell. A few blows of yours won't be able to do anything against me. You've crushed several bones and veins of energy, but I don't think that ends here. If you're right, you hit hard. But did I hit you with all my power? Dude, don't contradict yourself. A few moments ago, you weren't able to believe with the physical force that I was able to attack you. At this moment, you don't want to play rough. It's not to be rude, but I'm only able to bring the chart its destiny, and I don't plan to die in this battle, so I plan to use a lot more energy and physical strength. That I want to check. You won't be able to do anything against me.
Mikoshin wasn't able to finish her sentence because a beast had been able to connect an incredible blow to her face, being able to send it flying, creating a big explosion. But without waiting for it to recover, it would grant him thousands of blows of power cuts in every part of the body. Mikoshin wasn't able to release her power because Goku's blows didn't stop. So instantly Goku would throw an incredible attack of energy.
That's only a small part of my real power, so I hope you're ready for the beating of your life.
A huge rumble would be felt all over the place, while a huge amount of energy went through the entire Universe 7. That's right, 100% of Mikoshin's power had been released because those blows had hurt too much not to get angry.
You mortal! I'm gonna end your pathetic life once and for all. I'm not gonna leave a trace of you, you scumbag!
I haven't seen Mikoshin like that before. Is it possible that Son Goku's really able to irritate her like that?
Mikoshin, without warning, launched herself against Goku. At the moment they both collided their fists, an incredible explosion had formed all over the place. That explosion would expand all over the place. While essence of destruction was spread throughout Universe 7, both warriors continued to exchange thousands of blows. However, Kefla had the intention of ending Beerus' life, but it would be interrupted by a telepathic connection of Son Goku.
Kefla, I don't want you to touch Beerus' Zebesto. I want to end him personally. That traitor's life. I want to make him beg for it.
I understand, Goku. I ask for an apology. In that case, I'll only devote myself to observing. The battle of both would begin to spread across all the planets. However, in the Kingdom of the Whole, they were not able to feel the extortions of their energy because Goku was able to place a powerful barrier. However, Mikoshin was able to communicate for 2 seconds with Daishinkan, exclaiming the name of Son Goku. With this, it was necessary for Daishinkan to change his expression completely.
This can't be happening. I don't think I misheard. I'm sure Mikoshin named Son Goku, but I can't stay with this intrigue. I must go to Universe 7.
Daishinkan, with his great speed, would move through all the 12 universes, but the instant he reached the border of Universe 7, he'd been repelled with great power, because the speed with which he was moving was amazing.
There's no doubt whatsoever. This barrier's been put up by that Saiyan, but I can't believe all this power he possesses. I'll have to destroy it quickly.
Daishinkan would begin to channel a large part of his power, with which he'd been able to, and be impossible for him to even crack that barrier. Returning to the battlefield, even though Mikoshin had released all her power, Goku would release his power little by little, until he was able to overcome it, connecting some incredible blows, which caused incredible damage to his entire body. The most serious damage were his veins of energy. However, at the moment, the barrier of the Universe 7 had completely fallen. That's right, Daishinkan, using the negative energy that I had mastered, he was able to break the barrier, being able to connect a big blow to Goku, sending him flying to a planet, completely destroying him. while holding Mikoshin in his arms, and with his angelic power, he was able to heal some wounds.
Son Goku, you dug your grave yourself. I don't plan to let you get out of this place alive. I plan to make mincemeat out of you.
Goku, before being able to say anything, his body had been completely mutilated. However, Daishinkan had avoided all of the vital organs to be able to continue torturing Goku. Instantly, Goku would fall to the planet with a great power, while from each of his limbs too much blood would spread.
What's happened? I thought you called yourself the most powerful Saiyan. The Saiyan who shows off by hitting women. Aren't you able to hit me the same way?
Goku, using a large part of his energy, was able to recover completely, while at the moment, he would begin to expel much more power. So instantly his hair would turn a pink color, while his power had risen in an incredible way. And just as Goku's negative energy had shot up to amazing levels, Daishinkan would be surprised by all the power that Goku had been able to release, because the power that emanated did not lose against his. While Mikoshin felt humiliated. That Saiyan hid his true power. I can't believe it. I want to end your life, but I don't have the necessary power to do it.
I can tell you that you possess an incredible power, but it's a pity that I, the great priest, has taken the trouble to having the great training. So no matter how much you increase your power, you won't be able to do anything against me.
Those were the same words from that useless Mikoshin told me. And your look of a pathetic condition I end up in, so you better not underestimate me or I'll end your life.
Instantly, both of them began to exchange thousands of blows. Their battle was much more devastating than the one that she had against Mikoshin. But this one, being furious, had thrown herself against Kefla. However, Kefla's power was not at all low because Mikoshin's body consisted of multiple wounds. Her power had decreased in an incredible way, so Kefla was able to maintain an even battle with Mikoshin.
This is amazing. I never thought that Son Goku's case would reach those extremes. At this moment, none of the angels or gods will be able to do anything.
Returning to the realm of the All, Zeno-sama had noticed everything that had happened, so he would instantly begin to observe everything that was happening in Universe 7, while he would also be surprised by the negative energy that was being released.
Wow, this is amazing! The power that Goku's been able to achieve is amazing. I don't know how he's been able to master all that negative energy.
Returning to the battlefield, the entire Universe 7 this time was being destroyed. Because the barrier had been destroyed, even other planets of all universes were beginning to be affected. Just as the pressure was able to completely restrict the angels and gods, since their pressure was able to break every one of their bones. Daishinkan was furious, since from his perspective, a simple Saiyan had been able to match his incredible power. But Goku's energy veins were about to burst.
Apparently my revenge will have to be postponed for later. I didn't think Daishinkan would be able to destroy my barrier.
Goku, with an incredible brutality, was able to hit him with a blow from Daishinkan all over the face. The blow had been so powerful that instantly he was able to send him flying to another planet. He was even able to cause enormous chaos while he would teleport in front of Mikoshin, knocking her out of combat with a single blow to her stomach. Goku would immediately notice how Daishinkan would expel an incredible power, but without wasting time observing Beerus being able to hold him while the Kefla was holding Goku's shoulder. That's right, they all disappeared from the place, including Beerus.
Oh, that miserable guy has been taken, Beerus. We won't be able to do anything. Beerus's death is inevitable.
Daishinkan would be able to approach Mikoshin, realizing that Solamante was out of combat. So Daishinkan would hold her in his arms, leaving for the Kingdom of All. Meanwhile, in a dimension far removed from the 12 universes, the Saiyans had been able to arrive, throwing Beerus to the ground, which, despite being the most powerful of the 12 gods, his power was insufficient to face Goku.
Kefla, please! I want you to tie Beerus with energy chains. From tomorrow, we'll start with his torture. He'll beg that we end his life.
Goku would immediately fall out of combat due to excess energy, while Kefla had been able to tie Beerus with multiple energy chains. In the dimension in which Goku and Kefla had arrived, we're able to observe as Beerus had been bound by multiple hoops of energy, which no matter how much energy the god released, he was not able to do absolutely anything. However, a week had already passed since the battle they had already had, and Goku wasn't able to wake up.
I have to be able to free myself before Goku wakes up, because I feel confident to finish this damn Saiyan. But with Goku, I have no chance.
Beerus, no matter how much he released his power, was not able to do anything. Even on this occasion, energy would move all over the floor until forming energy chains, which with, they had been able to hold Beerus completely. For his part, in the Kingdom of the Hole, Daishinkan had been able to heal all of Mikoshin's wounds, lying her down in one of the rooms of the Kingdom of the Hole, but at the moment, the King of the Hole, Zeno-sama, would prostrate himself in front of Daishinkan with a very serious look.
Daishinkan, this is about gravity. Mikoshin even surpassed your power before you entered that dimension. If Son Goku's power is able to do this to him, he is a dangerous subject. We have to take actions as quickly as possible.
I agree with you, great Zeno-sama, but we're not able to locate him. The god Beerus is still alive, and since the sphere of life that lies in his body is not yet completely turned off.
There are two probabilities. They're making Beerus suffer in an incredible way, so that his agony is much longer, or else Son Goku's still out of combat.
I doubt it would be the second one, my lord, because the resistance that Son Goku's body possessed was incredible, so I think they're torturing Beerus.
No, even if he has a great resistance, no one's able to withstand the power of a priest as if nothing. Even he uses much more power than his own body would withstand.
Returned to that dimension, Beerus had given up, only waiting for his tragic end because he had been able to realize that Kefla's power even surpassed him. For that very reason, he wasn't able to do anything against him.
Apparently, I got confused on the side. I thought that by joining this side of the beings of the highest level, I wouldn't be eliminated. But Son Goku has again been able to overcome his limits.
It's already been about 4 more weeks in which Goku had already woken up with a severe headache. Even on this occasion, he had returned to his base state, something that for thousands of years he hadn't done.
My head hurts too much. Finally, all my energy veins are fully recovered. The blows at that damn Daishinkan are awesome. Goku, you're finally awake! Here follows the god Beerus. I fulfilled your quest.
Goku would begin to approach Beerus, which both were face to face. Beerus, despite knowing that his death was coming, he kept reflecting that arrogant look.
If you want to end my life, do it once and for all. I don't regret anything I've done. You're bad for every place you go.
Kefla would start charging an incredible attack, but Goku would stretch out one of his hands.
No, Kefla, let him speak. I want to know why he's done it, and since I even gave my life for the whole Universe 7, I want to know what it was that motivated him to betray me.
Son Goku, if it hadn't been for your hunger for power, none of us would be in this situation. The Tournament of Power wouldn't have been created. You are a pest.
So they only betrayed me because they were afraid of a more powerful being than you would appear. They're really insects. Now I'm gonna finish with you.
Goku would stretch out one of his hands, while for his part, Beerus was terrified but equally calm. Beerus would say to himself,
When I die, I'll be able to be reborn, so it'll take me millions of years, but my soul is safe. Since the soul of a god can't be destroyed, I will exterminate you.
I know you feel confident because of your supposed indestructible soul, but it's a pity that for my destructive energy, they don't apply those rules. Since my energy will be able to even disintegrate your soul, it'd be as if you never existed.
Beerus at that moment would fear real terror, beginning to beg for his life because he felt as every part of his body began to be reduced to mere atoms, as his soul disappeared completely.
I knew you were confident because according to you, you had your insurance policy. But it's a pity that I've always been 2 steps ahead of you. I've disappeared, Beerus.
Beerus would disappear from the side of both Saiyans, leaving absolutely nothing. While for his part in the realm of the whole, the sphere of life of Beerus' body had completely turned off, hinting at his death, but at the moment Daishinkan would quickly create a tiny sphere in one of his hands, with which he would try to bring Beerus to life.
With his soul strengthened, it has to be possible for me, so resurrect Beerus.
But to his surprise of everyone, Beerus never appeared in front of them, implying that Son Goku had even completely destroyed his soul, leaving absolutely nothing about his existence. But at the moment of an incredible rumble would be felt throughout the kingdom of the All. That's right, Mikoshin had awakened, increasing all her power due to being humiliated by a being that she considers to be inferior to her.
I swear that I'll finish with that damn monkey. I can't believe that a being that wasn't born with divine energy is able to beat me. He will pay.
Mikoshin, you better calm down, since Son Goku's power exceeds yours. You won't be able to do anything against him, so we better come up with a plan.
No, Daishinkan, this time I'll use all my power from the beginning. In our battle, I trusted me from the beginning, but at this moment, I'll not make the same mistake. Mikoshin, you better obey, otherwise I'll end up with you myself.
Mikoshin, furious, she would pounce against Zeno-sama, because millions of years ago, Mikoshin's power even surpassed Zeno-sama's, but to her surprise this time, despite not having transformed, she was able to repel Mikoshin's great blow, being able to hold her with her tiny hands, but the form was overwhelming. That strength was unreal.
It'll be better for you not to try hard, because no matter how much physical strength you possess, you won't be able to overcome me. You do not have the power required to face me.
My lord, I ask you in the most cordial way to please release my daughter. She will already behave and won't attack him again in such a sudden way.
Okay, Daishinken, I'll do it for you, because otherwise I'd end his life with a single blow, because you better than anyone know that I won't tolerate these disrespects.
I understand, my lord. Please, I ask for your apology on behalf of my daughter.
Zeno-sama would stop holding Mikoshin, but she would be very surprised because thousands of years ago, the eldest daughter of Daishinken was the most powerful warrior. However, since Zeno-sama and Daishinken mastered the negative energy, they had overcome it by dozens of times. I can't believe the power that both warriors release. I was even much more powerful than them. But this won't stay that way. I'll become much more powerful.
We have to do something. Because I'm sure that even with the death of Beerus, those Saiyans will plan to attack the entire Divine Kingdom. So we can't let our guard down.
I agree with you, Daishinken, but I doubt that they'll attack so rashly. Because no matter what power they possess, they know that ending us will not be easy. My lord, I plan to go train in a totally different dimension, to be able to increase my power in the shortest time possible. I understand, Mikoshin, and of course you could do it. I have high expectations on you.
Mikoshin would go to one of the different dimensions of the Kingdom of the Whole, in which she would begin with her rigorous training. On the other hand, returning to the dimension of the Saiyans, both were meditating since they'd realized that their power was gigantic compared to the angels and gods. But the power of Daishinken had also increased in a precipitous way.
Goku, how much longer will we train for? It's true that Daishinken's power was gigantic, but if we fight together, I'm sure we'll be able to beat him.
I understand your point of view, but we won't fight together, since Zeno and Mikoshin are the same, and they'll come to the battle.
I understand. What do you want in that case for me is to face Mikoshin, and you must have the required power to face Zeno and Daishinken.
You're right, Kefla. So that very reason, we'll train in this room for 2 more years. We don't have to worry because in the outside world only 1 day will pass. Both Saiyans will begin their individual training, which would last since their last battle was to win or die. Each of the warriors perfected each of their techniques, their skills, and even their energy flows so that they're much more powerful. For their part, in the Kingdom of the Whole, Daishinken would continue very thoughtful.
It's true I've gotten the negative power, but I still don't understand how damn Saiyan had been able to get a hold of the negative power. The blow he gave me hurt me too much.
Daishinken, I understand that you're worried, but you have nothing to worry about. We are 3 and they are 2. The real problem is Son Goku. That's Saiyan even Mikoshin's able to take care of, and while you and I will finish with Son Goku.
I understand your point, my lord, but I really can't believe that Goku's power is so great as to even cope with the power of the negative energy we've obtained.
He's not much more powerful, just that a warrior of a warrior race, his ability on the battlefield is much more chaotic, so it seems that he'll surprise us.
We'll have to be ready, my lord, because even in the slightest carelessness, that Saiyan will cut off our heads. Of that I'm sure.
Don't worry, Daishinken, that even I take into account since the Saiyan appears, we must release all our power, so as not to take any risks.
The 2 days had passed quickly in which, in the Kingdom of the Whole, they had prepared for any sudden attack. However, in the moment, an incredible power would be felt in each of the 12 universes. That's right, Son Goku, together with Kefla, had released 100% of their powers. So the devastations they were able to see by all the universes, Zeno-sama realizing incredible power that both of them were able to release, in the same way would begin to access his form of combat, which this time released an intention of an incredible killer, while Daishinken would still access 100% of all his power. So at the moment, they would both stare at each other, but in the instant the battle was about to begin, an incredible aura in the form of fire would rise through the entire realm. That's right, Mikoshin at that precise moment had finished his great training.
Well, apparently arrived when the party is about to start. This'll be a lot of fun. I hope you're prepared.
Kefla, the plan we devised? I trust you'll be able to cope with Mikoshin, while I end the lives of these 2 miserable good-for-nothings.
That's That's really your plan? Do you really think you have the power required to face just the two of us?
I agree that you're very powerful, but you won't be able to do anything against us two.
That's interesting. Who said I'd be alone? Wake up and Kakarot arises.
At the moment, a door as if it were from the underworld, a warrior enveloped in flames would begin to appear, while his negative aura exceeded by tens of times the aura possessed by Daishaken and Zeno-sama.
Wow, this is amazing. So really, if I work the cell separation... Now, who will be my opponent?
This is amazing. A new Goku's come out from the original body, but the power he possesses is much more negative than the power of the original Goku.
Without Daishaken being able to do anything or see it, it would be thrown towards an incredible planet, creating a great destruction for all its passage.
I want to take care of that useless Daishaken, since I won't forgive him for hitting us like that.
Kakarot would leave at a great speed, while Goku and Zeno-sama were left staring at each other.
It's time to end this once and for all. I can't believe that you, the being I consider my best friend, has done something like this to me. It's nothing personal, but your very existence puts our entire multiverse at risk. So for that reason, I have to end your pathetic life. It's a pity that you don't have the necessary power to end my life. Ha ha ha! You don't know the power that a king has at all. So you better prepare your grave, because it won't leave even dust of you.
At the moment, two incredible auras would rise throughout the 12 universes, while the final battle was about to begin. Son Goku's power has risen in a great way, and without wasting time, he was able to hold Zeno-sama from his head, destroying absolutely everything around him. Zeno-sama, despite using a large amount of all his power, he was not able to do anything. That's right, Goku's power this time had been so much that he was able to completely overshadow it. Instantly, Goku with a great power was able to send him towards a planet, destroying everything around.
I know that with that, I haven't been able to do absolutely anything to you, so leave aside the energy drain. Otherwise, I'll end up with you in an instant.
An incredible aura of fire would rise up all over the place. That's right, the power of the great Zeno-sama had been released.
You're a very powerful warrior, but I'm not impressed with you. Since you, being the most powerful warrior of all the 12 universes, it was to be expected.
At the moment, both launched themselves, starting to exchange millions of blows for all the 12 universes. That's right, this time, neither one worried about the destruction of the universes, because their battle was the one that would decide the fate of each of the universes.
Wow! Goku's power is amazing! He was able to neutralize Daishaken with his simple aura, but I don't have to stay behind. I plan to end this dam.
The power that had been able to expel that Saiyan is amazing. Now I understand how he was able to almost end his life, but I have no plans to die in this place. Mikoshin, with a great speed, was able to transport herself to one side of Kefla, but at the moment Kefla was able to dodge her blow, starting to exchange millions of blows all over the place. That's right, this time Mikoshin's power had grown in an incredible way. However, Kefla's power would not be left behind, since the blows that were able to connect made them spit large amounts of blood all over the place.
No, damn. I can't believe that I feel the angel's father. This immobilized by a simple pressure.
Daishaken would try to stand up, but his bones were completely destroyed. But next to Daishaken, a big explosion would be generated, as Zeno was able to grant an incredible attack to Goku, sending him flying.
That hurt a little bit, but
Goku, before finishing his sentence, was able to observe Daishaken next to him, who was not even able to move with his simple pressure.
Aha! The great priest! He's eating dust with my simple pressure. I can tell that you're a simple worm next to me.
Goku would stretch out one of his hands with the intention of ending Daishaken's life. But Zeno, with a powerful attack, was able to deflect that attack, and without wasting time, he was able to send Goku flying with a great blow.
No, I'm not gonna let you end Daishaken's life.
I want to thank you very much, my lord, because if it hadn't been for you, that damn monkey would have been able to end my life.
No, Daishaken, don't get confused. I won't let him end your life because you serve me more alive than dead. But you're not able to withstand a simple pressure, so you'll be part of all my power.
What has my lord said? Please, I implore you, give me one more chance.
Zeno-sama, without any remorse, was able to insert his hand into Daishinkan's heart, beginning to absorb every drop of his energy, making his power much greater. This would be realized by Goku since an incredible destruction would begin for all the 12 universes. That guy started to absorb Daishinkan. He didn't care about the time they spent together. He only used it as food for his own power. Goku at great speed would try to stop him, since his power was beginning to reach amazing scales. That's right, this time Zeno-sama's power was becoming much more destructive. Goku being a few centimeters away, a great barrier would be formed all over Zeno-sama's body, while Daishinkan's vital energy was beginning to come to an end. That happens with him being a weakling, since the law of this world is like that. The strongest lives while the weak serve, so that the strong can become even more powerful. If that's your thought, then in this case, I'm planning to end your life right now, since you're nothing but power besides me. What did you say? I'm not gonna let you disrespect me like that. Mikoshin and Kefla would resume their battle while Goku, no matter how great his effort was not able to destroy that powerful barrier. But after a few minutes, a huge explosion would be observed all over the battlefield, while Zeno-sama's own appearance had completely changed, since in that instant, a golden warrior would appear throughout the entire multiverse, while his power was so great that he was even able to destroy millions of dimensions in his path. Sorry for the wait, but I really had to recharge. I'm ready, so you better be prepared anyways. Ha! It doesn't matter that you absorbed Daishinkan, his power was pathetic. But Goku wasn't able to see anything, he just felt like millions of blows were capable of completely destroying his body. That's right, this time, each of Zeno-sama's blows were capable of causing incredible damage to his entire body. Haha, you weren't able to keep up with me? I try to defend yourself, but otherwise, this would be very boring. What the hell? How was he able to attack me with that incredible speed? I haven't been able to see absolutely anything. Goku would stand up, expelling the maximum power of the Ultra Instinct, since this transformation allowed him to use 100% of all his power. Without losing speed, the incredible aura would rise throughout the multiverse, while instantly, his silver-colored eyes would shine with great intensity. After 2 seconds, they were already exchanging millions of blows. But despite the incredible increase in Goku's power, he hadn't been able to match Zeno-sama. Although he was able to grant him a few blows, it was not enough. Damn, I have to think about something fast because if the battle continues at this pace, this bastard will be able to finish me. Goku with a great blow had fallen to the ground, destroying mountains around him. I must admit that you possess an incredible power, but you still remain a mere mortal. Since you, aside from my true power, you are completely nothing. Zeno would notice how Kefla was able to defeat Mikoshin, and as his last blow was about to take his life, Zeno-sama at a great speed was able to knock out Kefla, staring at Mikoshin. You should already know what I will do. The weak die. Only the strong survive, so I ask for an apology. No, damn, I never thought I'd be ending up as a part of being you. This is disgusting. Zeno-sama would begin to absorb Mikoshin in the same way. Goku, being badly injured, was not able to do anything to stop him, since large amounts of blood were being released from his body, which did not allow him to manage to do something against him. Damn, I have to get back to my base state so as not to wear down the little power I do have. Goku would return to his base state, and with the help of teleportation was able to get to the side of Kefla, who was a little injured but nothing serious. Apparently the training Kefla's had helped her get this incredible stamina, but I don't know what we could do to beat that miserable. Blood was beginning to fall from Zeno-sama's body. That's right, even though his body was beginning to release a gigantic power, in the same way too much blood would be released, because he was not used to the power of Daishinkan, and adding the power of Mikoshin to it, it was complete madness. So his body was beginning to completely destroy. That's my only chance. I'm able to withstand all the power of Kefla, just like Kakarot still possesses all my power. Whis, I promise not to waste any of your power. Goku, from a slight blow to Kefla's chest, was able to make her wake up. Ah! What happened? I was about to end Mikoshin's life. It's not time for that.
Just know that damn Zeno started absorbing Mikoshin.
No, damn. Then we better run away right now as we can, because if we stay, a single one of his blows will be able to finish us off.
No, Kefla, it's not time to run away, because if we do, that wretch will still be able to master all that power. I want you to look at the ground.
Kefla had noticed that large pools of blood were forming around Zeno.
Now I understand the body of that miserable dwarf is not to assimilate all the power he's absorbing, and this is the opportunity to defeat him.
You're right, Kefla, because if I'm able to give him a single hit with all my power, I'll be able to explode it, because it is time bomb. But if we give him time to be able to master all that great power, he will finish with us.
I understand, Goku. Count on me for whatever you need.
I just want to give you my power, since I'm going to take care of that guy personally.
No, Goku, don't say stupid things. That's complete madness, because the power of that bastard is incredible, and even if his body's not able to dominate him, if he's able to grant you a single blow, he can end your life.
Please, Kefla, trust me. We have only finished with the gods who've mocked us, but the high commands are missing, and only the most important of all remains.
A great power would also begin to enter Goku's body, because the Kefla that would begin to completely transmit all its power to him, Goku would raise his power to the max, which Zeno-sama would realize. However, he wasn't able to do anything since he was trying to assimilate all the power he had absorbed.
That's enough, Kefla! With this power, I have to be able to beat this miserable.
No, Goku, I plan to give you all the power I have inside. Only leave the necessary teleport. I trust you, Goku.
Goku, before he's able to cut off Kefla's energy, she was able to send him almost all her power, and then she disappeared from the place while all of Kefla's power began to mix with her own power.
It's a gigantic power. I have to be able to control and I have to manage to give that wretch a single blow of all this power.
Zeno, at the moment, was able to move a little, throwing himself towards Goku.
I'm not gonna let you assimilate the power of all that damn, so I'll finish you right this instant.
Zeno, at the moment of hitting it, would completely go through it because it was an illusion, while Goku was on a very distant planet assimilating all the power.
That's enough! I can't let that wretch get used to that power either. I have to eradicate it this very instant.
Goku would appear in front of Zeno. Both exchanged millions of blows at an incredible speed, because their speeds were similar. Since Goku's speed had increased a little, while that of Zeno had decreased due to excess energy, Goku with a big kick was able to send him flying towards the planet.
It's now or never! I'll eradicate you!
Goku would begin to channel an incredible power, but to his surprise, Zeno, without wasting time, had appeared behind him, granting him in the same way a blow, destroying everything around him. Instantly, that Goku was standing up, Zeno had been able to hold his face tightly, completely destroying everything in his path.
I'm not planning on letting you end my life so easily.
Zeno, having him restrained, would throw an incredible attack, which was able to generate incredible damage to Goku. But when Goku was about to die, all the power that was able to travel through his body.
I've got a few inches at this distance I can't miss. Destroyer of evil gods! Blow of the Dragon God!
An incredible dragon was able to emerge from Goku's fist, so upon contact with Zeno-sama, it would begin to disintegrate completely, while Goku would fall to a planet on the verge of death and returning to his base state.
That was amazing! I never thought I would be able to beat that damn.
Goku would be out of combat, while Zeno-sama would be part of simple atoms of all the 12 universes. When the battle was over, a few days had passed and Kefla was able to recover completely. Returning to the battlefield, realizing that Goku was still out of combat, at the moment he found out he would return to the planet of the Saiyans of Universe 6.
I've finally been able to get our revenge. We have finished with this evil of all the 12 universes.
And after a few days, Goku had been able to wake up.
Yeah, my head hurts a little, but I feel prouder of the power that you've been able to get, Kefla.
I'm proud of you, as you've been able to obtain an incredible power, so much so that you were even able to defeat a king completely.
I appreciate it, but none of that would have been possible without your help. But it takes something for all this to end.
I knew you would say that, so while you remained unconscious, I was able to gather all the Super Dragon Balls. so we can bring to life all the warriors that were affected in this great battle. Great!
The powerful dragon god Zama was able to fulfill Goku's wish, allowing all the warriors eradicated by Zeno-sama and the great battle to come back to life, while Goku and Kefla would be the new rulers of the whole. At the precise moment that both Saiyan warriors, the shadow creatures, collided their attacks, the explosion resulting from the collision of the attacks left a crater on the battlefield, while a dense smoke obscured the view. Amidst the haze, Goku with a serious but confident expression, and Vegeta, also with a confident expression of having destroyed the shadow creatures with his attacks, stood on guard, ready to face whatever emerged from this smoke. Suddenly, as soon as the smoke dissipated from the battlefield, the shadowy creatures emerged unharmed, floating in the air with an even more intense presence. Their forms twisted, revealing an even darker and more powerful transformation. Now with eyes glowing with a more intense light, the shadow creatures uttered a great malevolent laugh and moved towards Goku and Vegeta with renowned ferocity. The sky was covered with dark clouds and lightning intermittently illuminated the scene. The creatures, once scattered, began to converge into a chaotic mass. Their bodies intertwined and merged, creating a monstrous entity that emanated a dark and malevolent aura. The fusion of the creatures was completed with a loud roar, and before Goku and Vegeta emerged, a nightmarish creature. The fused creature had a grotesque figure, with twisted limbs and glowing eyes filled with evil. Its body was enveloped in a halo of dark energy, which distorted the space around it. The ground shook with every step he took, and the waves of evil energy generated chaos on the battlefield. Goku and Vegeta exchanged determined glances. They knew they faced an unprecedented threat. The fusion of the creatures had given rise to a being of incredible power and speed. Goku frowned, clenching his fists, while Vegeta gave a cocky grin.
Kakarot, looks like things have become interesting. I didn't expect to have to face something like this.
Yes, Vegeta, this creature's no joke. We're gonna have to give it our all.
Both warriors raised their ki to the maximum, surrounding themselves with an intense golden and blue aura. Their hair stood on end and the earth trembled under the pressure of their combined power. The fused creature responded with a guttural laugh and advanced towards them with great strides.
Come on, Vegeta, let's attack together and put an end to this!
For once, Kakarot, I agree.
The battle reached its climax as Goku and Vegeta, enveloped in their golden and blue auras, launched themselves towards the fused creature. Every punch and burst of energy echoed through the air, creating a spectacle of flashes and booms. The creature, however, was not easy to defeat. Its agility and strength were astounding, dodging the Saiyan's attacks with ease.
Vegeta, we need to find an opening in its defense! Focus!
I know, Kakarot, but this thing's fast!
The fused creature responded with a ripping attack, sending the Saiyans flying across the battlefield. Goku and Vegeta, however, quickly recovered and stood up with renewed determination.
We can't underestimate this thing! Come on, Vegeta! Let's attack together!
Alright, Kakarot, together we'll defeat it!
Goku nodded and they concentrated their energies into an amazing combined attack. A brilliant flash of light and blue light materialized in their hands, growing with each second. The fused creature, seeing the imminent threat, tried to counterattack, but it was too late.
Kame! Final Flash!
The powerful beam of combined energy shot towards the fused creature, illuminating the dark battle with its radiance. However, just when impact seemed inevitable, the creature, in the last act of desperation, deployed a dark shield that managed to resist the Saiyan's assault. The result explosion sent Goku and Vegeta flying backwards, returning them to their base form, leaving them dazed and severely injured on the ground. The fused creature, though weakened, struggled to its feet, its malevolent aura flickering, but far from fading completely.
Vegeta, we're in trouble! This thing's stronger than we thought!
Vegeta, however, lay motionless on the ground with visible wounds and his aura rapidly diminishing.
Vegeta! Don't give up, Vegeta!
The fused creature, slowly recovering, calmly approached towards Vegeta with a palpable malevolence in its glowing eyes.
Your efforts are futile. I'm the amalgam of darkness itself. This is the end of you, Saiyan Prince.
Goku, full of rage and despair, stood up and threw himself towards the creature with what was left of his strength. However, the creature, with a simple wave of its hand, unleashed a wave of dark energy that enveloped Kakarot and threw him violently to the ground.
Vegeta, we need a plan.
The fused creature approached Vegeta, lifting him off the ground with one hand. The Saiyan Prince, barely conscious, opened his eyes to meet the cold, merciless gaze of his energy.
Kakarot, do whatever it takes.
The fused creature, with a contemptuous gesture, threw Vegeta back to the ground, leaving him on the verge of death. The battle, which had begun with hope, now became bleaker than ever. With his partner down and his own strength waning, Kakarot faced a strength that seemed insurmountable. Goku, sensing the desperation of the situation, recalled the hermit seeds he carried with him. The moment the fused creature came speeding towards him, Goku managed to dodge that blow swiftly, approached Vegeta and handed him one of the valuable seeds.
Vegeta, eat this! It'll give you the energy to keep fighting!
At the same time, Goku also consumed one of the seeds. Vegeta, barely conscious, accepted the seed and consumed it urgently. The hermit seed acted quickly, healing Vegeta's wounds and restoring his life energy. Flashes of golden light surrounded the Saiyan Prince as he stood up, his eyes regaining determination.
Kakarot, don't underestimate me. I can keep fighting.
Fine, Vegeta, but we need something else to defeat this creature. Do you remember the fusion technique?
Vegeta frowned but nodded in understanding. Both Saiyans positioned themselves in front of the fused creature, focusing their energies.
Vegeta, let's do it! Let's merge!
I don't think it'll come to this, Kakarot, but I have no choice.
Both warriors stood side by side, raising their hands into the front and began to concentrate their energies. The atmosphere was filled with a brilliant glow as the two Saiyans merged into a single entity. The resulting figure was a perfect combination of Goku and Vegeta, with a powerful golden aura enveloping their fused bodies. This fusion creature showed signs of unease as it witnessed the transformation. The new Saiyan entity turned to it with a determined look. The fusion between Goku and Vegeta, known as Gogeta, and his Super Saiyan form was now evident. Gogeta, with the combined voice of Goku and Vegeta, said, "Prepare for defeat. We're the fusion of the Saiyans, and there's nothing we cannot overcome." With a unified shout, the Saiyan fusion lunged towards the fused creature with incredible speed and power. The battle between the Saiyan fusion and the fused creature erupted into a frenzy of power and skill. Every move, every blow, every burst of energy shook the battlefield. The earth trembled under the intensity of the confrontation, and the sky lit up with the sparks of energy released during the fight. Gogeta, with the combination of Goku's cunning and Vegeta's determination, proved to be an unstoppable force. However, the fused creature did not yield easily, showing a resilience that defied expectations. Both contenders were at a stalemate, each pushing their limits to the max. Goku and Vegeta, in their fused form, began to feel the need to unleash more power to overcome their formidable foe. In a moment of perfect synchronization, both Saiyans raised their ki to the limit, and the atmosphere itself began to be distorted with the built-up pressure.
It's time to take this to the next level!
In a dazzling flash, the Saiyan fusion underwent an astonishing metamorphosis. His once golden hair now turned sapphire blue, and his aura took on a heavenly hue. The transformation to Super Saiyan Blue had taken place. The fused creature recoiled momentarily as it witnessed the new form. Shocked by the magnitude of the power unleashed, however, the Saiyan fusion showed no mercy and lunged towards with dizzying speed.
Prepare for true Saiyan strength!
The attacks and counterattacks reached a speed that defied perception. The fused creature, despite its previous endurance, was outmatched by the speed and aggressiveness of the Saiyan fusion in its Super Saiyan Blue form. The battle had not yet come to an end. In a final attempt to resist, the fused creature unleashed its own dark power, enveloping the Saiyan fusion in a spiral of chaotic energy. Gogeta, in response, concentrated his energy to the maximum in an act of rage.
Let's go farther!
The energy surrounding the Saiyan fusion intensified and exploded in a dazzling burst. The bright blue aura became more intense, and the power of the Saiyan fusion increased to unimaginable levels. The sky lit up with glows and waves of energy as the fused creature faced Gogeta's unstoppable strength. However, in an unexpected twist, the creature began to build up a dark and sinister energy, revealing a hidden power.
Your resistance is impressive, Saiyans, but you have not seen my true potential.
The fused creature transformed, its fusion distorting further. A black aura filled with malevolence surrounded its body as its eyes glowed with terrifying intensity.
What the hell is it doing?
The fused creature, now imbued with a new dark power, lunged at Gogeta with surprising speed. Despite Gogeta's formidable strength in his Super Saiyan Blue form, the fused creature seemed to be able to anticipate even more.
Now you'll experience true darkness.
Gogeta sensed the threat, deciding to take his own power to the extreme. In a blink of an eye, he activated the technique, the Kaioken. His blue aura multiplied into a mixture of blue and red, and the intensity of the battle reached levels never seen before.
It's time to put an end to this! Kaioken!
Gogeta's speed and strength multiplied exponentially, and the fused creature was momentarily caught off guard. However, the creature counterattacked with a blast of dark energy that enveloped Gogeta, but he struggled to resist. Gogeta, in his Kaioken state, felt the need to raise his power even higher. Thus, his ki increased, causing the earth to tremble from such immense power, destroying mountains and lifting rocks into the skies. At that precise moment, he disappeared from the sight of the fused creature, appearing from behind and creating a glowing bluish sphere of energy that materialized between his hands.
Final Kamehameha!
The energy sphere impacted against the fused creature with unparalleled force. The resulting explosion lit up the sky, dispersed the creature's dark energy. However, when the light faded, the fused creature emerged once again, albeit visibly weakened.
Do not underestimate my power, Saiyans. I have attained a form beyond your comprehension.
Gogeta, sensing the gravity of the situation, prepared for the next confrontation. The battle, far from over, was entering even more dangerous terrain, with the fate of the universe hanging in the balance in this fierce struggle between light and darkness. The battlefield was plunged into utter chaos, with destructive shockwaves reverberating throughout space. Gogeta, with his combined aura of Super Saiyan Blue and Kaioken, was moving at speeds that defied perception. The fused creature, despite his new enhanced form, was momentarily outmatched by the Saiyan warrior's speed.
Darkness cannot defeat light. It's time to seal your fate.
Though weakened, the fused creature did not give up. With impressive speed, it lunged towards Gogeta, unleashing a series of dark attacks that even defied the Kaioken's speed.
Your light is but a fleeting glimmer. In the eternity of darkness, you will suffer.
Gogeta, with sharp reflexes at precise moments, will dodge the fused creature's attacks. The battle reached an even greater frenzy, with a clash of fists and kicks creating waves of energy that swept the surrounding landscape. The once dark and stormy sky were illuminated by the flashes on the contest. In the beginning of the moment of opportunity, Gogeta channeled the Kaioken to an even higher level. His aura became more intense, mixing blue with red in a dazzling display. Seeing the new burst of power, the fused creature recoiled momentarily, a moment Gogeta took advantage of to gather energy.
This is the limit of your darkness. Prepare for the end.
Gogeta, with unmatched speed, appeared in front of the fused creature, concentrating his energy to a single point. A glowing sphere of energy formed between his hands, but this time, the sphere was not blue, it was a mixture of colors. A fusion of the power of Super Saiyan Blue and Kaioken.
Kaioken 20 times! Final Kamehameha!
The now larger, more powerful energy sphere hurled with impressive speed towards the fused creature. The resulting explosion illuminated the entire horizon, causing the mountains and valleys to be enveloped in a dazzling glow. When the light faded, the fused creature lay defeated on the ground. Its dark aura completely dissipated. Gogeta, with his Super Saiyan Blue form and Kaioken still activated, watched cautiously. The intense battle had come to an end, but the price of the confrontation was reflected in the devastated earth and the wear and tear visible on the Saiyan warrior.
I hope that was enough. This universe can't take any more of this destruction.
With a flash, Gogeta deactivated the Kaioken and returned to his base form. As silence descended over the battlefield, the lingering question was whether the threat had truly been eliminated or if there was still challenges to be faced in the vast cosmos. Goku and Vegeta, feeling that the threat had been neutralized for the moment, separated from the Saiyan fusion. The intensity of the battle had left both Saiyans exhausted, but their attention was diverted to a disturbing reality. In the corner of their vision, they watched as a small dark creature made its way towards where Gohan and Broly were standing.
Vegeta, something's happening! We must get there fast!
Those two are in trouble if that thing gets to them. Let's go, Goku.
Both Saiyans, despite their exhaustion, dashed towards Gohan and Broly's location with as much speed as possible. As they approached, they could see the dark creature getting closer and closer to the two warriors. Gohan, who was training with Broly in an attempt to increase his skills, noticed Goku and Vegeta's arrival urgently.
Dad! Vegeta! Something's coming!
Broly, with his piercing gaze, had also sensed the approaching threat.
Evil creature, we will fight.
The small dark creature, noticing the presence of the Saiyans, stopped advancing and displayed a malevolent laugh.
Ha ha ha! Your victory was short-lived. This is only the first of many surprises.
Before they could react, the dark creature split into multiple smaller shadows, surrounding Gohan and Broly with astonishing speed.
Watch out, Broly! They're fast and dangerous!
We will fight. We won't let them defeat us.
Goku and Vegeta, arriving just in time, joined the battle. The battle became a chaotic dance of blows and explosions as the Saiyans fought the dark shadows that multiplied endlessly.
Let's finish this quickly. Gohan, Broly, stay strong.
Got it, Vegeta!
Broly, unleashing his titanic power, emitted a wave of energy that temporarily dispersed the dark shadows. However, the dark creature, in a final act of desperation, merged back into a larger, more powerful form.
My shadows cannot be so easily defeated. The real battle has just begun.
The shadow creature, now strengthened and more menacing than ever, faced the four Saiyan warriors with palpable malevolence. Gohan, Broly, Goku, and Vegeta moved into battle stance, facing the shadow creature with determination.
Come on, guys! Let's work together and put an end to this menace once and for all!
Broly growled in agreement, his power emanating from him with an imposing force. Goku and Vegeta, despite their earlier exhaustion, raised their energies ready for the battle ahead. The shadow creature, with a sinister laugh, lunged towards them with surprising speed. The Saiyans responded with a coordinated assault, launching energy blasts and performing combo attacks. However, the shadow creature was agile and dodged their attacks with ease.
We can't let this thing get away. Concentrate on attacking together.
You're right, Vegeta! If we fight them as a team, we can overcome anything!
The four Saiyans synchronized their movements, attacking in harmony. Broly unloaded titanic blows. Gohan used his agility and advanced techniques, while Goku and Vegeta coordinated their energies to create a combined assault. Despite their efforts, the shadow creature proved to be resilient and adaptable. It defended with cunning and counterattacked with fury. In a moment of tension, the shadow creature unleashed a dark glow that enveloped its form, transforming to an even more powerful and monstrous version.
It's getting stronger again!
It doesn't matter. I'll destroy it.
The battle intensified as the shadow creature, in its enhanced form, launched waves of dark energy and unleashed more devastating attacks. The Saiyans, however, did not back down. Despite the gravity of the situation, their determination burned stronger than ever.
There's no limit to our strength when we fight together! Come on, guys, we can't lose!
This thing doesn't know who it's messing with. Get ready for what's coming.
Gohan, Broly, Goku, and Vegeta channeled their energies to the maximum, shaking the earth under the intensity of their combined power. In a unified act, the four Saiyans raised their ki to the limit and lunged towards the shadow creature with indomitable resolve. The shadow creature, now in its strengthened form, unleashed a dark energy that enveloped Broly, possessing the mighty Saiyan with a malevolent influence. Broly, his eyes now awash with shadows, stood before the other Saiyans with a menacing presence.
Broly, I won't let you be used as a puppet. We must save him. We won't let this thing manipulate Broly. Come on, guys. Let's protect ourselves and save our friend.
This is getting more complicated than I thought. But no matter, we won't let the darkness win.
The battle began with the shadow creature using Broly's immense power against them. The controlled Saiyan's attacks were fierce, with waves of energy and bursts of ki that challenged even the most experienced warriors. The Saiyans dodged and counterattacked, but the shadow creature took advantage of Broly's brute strength to counter his moves.
We must weaken it enough to free Broly! Dad, Vegeta, let's follow the plan and attack in unison!
The three Saiyans coordinated, launching a series of swift and powerful attacks. However, the shadow creature moved with agility, dodging most of the blows and countering with blows of its own. Broly, under the influence of the Dark Possession, was showing superhuman endurance.
It's not enough! Broly, fight against this influence!
We must force him to break free. We're gonna give it our all.
In a moment of desperation, the Saiyans decided to raise their powers to the maximum. Goku transformed into Super Saiyan second stage, Gohan advanced his mystical form, and Vegeta unleashed his own power into Super Saiyan second stage. The three Saiyans surrounded Broly, launching a combination of flurry of powerful attacks.
Broly, resist! Don't let their darkness consume you!
The shadow creature, feeling the combined presence of the three Saiyan warriors, showed signs of weakness. However, in a desperate act, the dark energy intensified its hold on Broly, raising its power even higher and unleashing unbridled fury.
We can't give up! We're going to free Broly, whatever it takes!
The battle reached its climax as the three Saiyan warriors, Goku, Gohan, and Vegeta, clashed against the shadow creature possessing Broly. The unleashed energy created a spectacle of flashes, explosions, and shockwaves that shook the battlefield. Goku, with his power as a Super Saiyan, moved with astonishing speed, launched energy blasts and accurate punches at the shadow creature. Gohan, in his mystical form, unleashed a combination of fast attacks and advanced techniques, seeking to weaken the dark possession that controlled Broly. Vegeta, in his Super Saiyan second phase form, displayed titanic power, coordinating his attacks with calculated precision.
Broly, listen to my voice! Don't be consumed by this darkness!
The shadow creature, however, resisted tenaciously, harnessing Broly's brute strength and ferocity to counter the Saiyan's attacks. Broly, under the Dark Possession, responded with unstoppable strength, his attacks more intense and uncontrolled.
We need to weaken that possession! Come on, guys, keep up the pressure!
This dark power won't last forever. We must resist.
The battle grew more frantic. With each passing moment, the shadow creature, sensing the threat of the Saiyans, intensified its hold on Broly, fusing its dark energy with the brute strength of the legendary Saiyan.
We can't back down now! Broly's our friend, and we won't let this darkness control him!
In a moment of perfect synchronization, the three Saiyans focused their energies into a coordinated attack. Goku launched a Kamehameha, Gohan unleashed a Masenko, and Vegeta fired a final flash, all aimed at the shadow creature. The resulting explosion illuminated the battlefield, creating an energy storm. However, when the light faded, the shadow creature Broly still stood, visibly weakened but far from defeated.
It's not enough! We must find a way to free Broly from this possession!
At that moment, the shadow creature, taking advantage of the Saiyan's momentary weakness, launched a surprise attack, sending Goku and Gohan to the ground. Vegeta, with his rage in his eyes, stood up determined.
Enough's enough! We won't let this thing continue to manipulate Broly.
Vegeta concentrated his ki to the maximum, unleashing a new transformation. His intense blue aura transformed into an even brighter and more powerful hue.
Super Saiyan Blue!
The atmosphere itself seemed to tremble at the magnitude of the transformation. Vegeta, now in his evolved form, launched himself towards the shadow creature with renewed speed and power. Vegeta's transformation in Super Saiyan Blue Evolved caused a dramatic change in the intensity of the battle. His bright blue aura flashed with overwhelming energy as he charged towards the shadowy creature and Broly, who was still under his influence.
It's time to put an end to this. Broly, I'll fight to free you from this darkness.
The shadow creature, sensing the threat posed by Super Saiyan Blue, adopted a defensive stance. On the other hand, Broly, his eyes still darkened, prepared to face Vegeta. Vegeta unleashed a flurry of quick and precise attacks, combining punches and kicks with astonishing speed. Each move was charged with the strength of the new form, and the shadow creature was forced to retreat in the face of Vegeta's fury.
Broly, regain control. I'll not allow this darkness to consume you.
Broly, under the influence of the Dark Possession, responded with impressive stamina. His attacks were brutal and uncontrolled, but Vegeta moved with a dexterity that defied expectations.
I need to find an opening in this possession.
In an act of bravery, Vegeta launched himself directly towards Broly. Their fists collided forcefully, and Vegeta, using all his skill, made precise strikes that temporarily weakened the dark influence.
Broly, fight this! You're stronger than this darkness!
The shadowy creature, seeing Vegeta's resistance, increased his energy and fused even more with Broly. Now the dark influence was more entrenched than ever, and Broly unleashed an explosion of wild power.
You can't stop me, Saiyan Prince!
Vegeta, not backing down, continued to engage Broly. The battle reached new heights as both warriors unleashed their most powerful attacks. Vegeta launched a Big Bang attack while Broly responded with a gigantic charge of dark energy. The collision of energies generated a huge explosion that blanketed the area. After the dust settled, Vegeta lay on the ground, clearly exhausted but not giving up.
I can't lose. My determination's stronger than your darkness.
The battle between Vegeta and Broly, who was possessed by the shadow creature, reached a critical point. The overflowing energy of the confrontation was spreading across the battlefield, distorting the air and creating palpable tension. At that crucial moment, Goku found himself regaining consciousness, stood up, and immediately went to Saiyan Prince's side.
Vegeta, let's go! Let's give it all we've got!
Goku's transformation into Super Saiyan Phase 2 and joined the fray. The shadow creature, seeing the arrival of another Saiyan warrior, prepared to face the new threat.
Kakarot, you're just in time. This thing has gotten stronger with Broly.
We'll face it together! Broly, we won't let this darkness control you!
The three Saiyans stood in formation, ready to deal with the shadow creature fused with Broly. The intensity of the conflict increased even more, with flashes of energy and clashes of fists echoing throughout the battlefield.
Come on, Kakarot, let's attack in unison and free Broly.
I got it, Vegeta! Together, we'll free him!
The Saiyans coordinated their attacks, launching a combined blast towards the shadow creature. Despite their efforts, Broly's dark possession was still resisting, fueled by the brute strength of the legendary Saiyan. Broly, under the influence of the shadow creature, unleashed an uncontrolled fury. His attacks were unpredictable and devastating, putting the Saiyans on the defensive. Goku, Vegeta, and the shadow creature continued to exchange energy blasts and powerful blows.
Vegeta, we must break that possession! We can't let Broly fall into darkness!
Roger that, Kakarot. Let's keep attacking together.
Amidst the chaos of the battlefield, the fiery aura of the Saiyans lit up the sky, a visual manifestation of their mammoth power. Goku and Vegeta, feeling the weight of the battle, decided to take it a step further. They joined their energies in a symphony of power, a final bid to tear apart the shadows enveloping the evil presence. The shadow creature on the brink of the abyss responded with desperation. It raised its own power, and the darkness churned with intensity as it struggled to resist the combined onslaught of the Saiyans. The clash of energies created a cataclysm of flashes and booms, shaking the battlefield to its core. At that critical moment, the energy explosion was unleashed with dazzling magnificence. The earth shook, and the shockwaves swept across the landscape, leaving behind a trail of destruction. Goku, Vegeta, and Broly, enveloped in the blanket of the explosion, were momentarily eclipsed by the blinding light and dancing shadow. When the shimmering luminosity faded, the Saiyans found themselves faced with a new scenario. On the ground lay Broly, his figure shrouded in a residual haze of the contest. The dark aura that had consumed him had finally dissipated. Stillness reigned on the battlefield. As the warriors approached with worried looks, the formidable warrior who now resisted, his power darkened, finally silenced.
We did it, Vegeta! Broly's free!
Yes, but this shadow creature's still a problem. We can't let our guard down.
Vegeta nodded grimly as they watched Broly, who lay on the ground, slowly recovering from the intense battle. However, at that moment of apparent calm, the shadow creature, cunning and unnoticed, had left Broly's possession to seek a new host. The dark entity swiftly swept into the shadows, unnoticed by the Saiyans, who still assessing their companion's condition. Silently, the shadow creature crept towards Gohan, who had been watching the battle from a distance. Gohan, oblivious to the threat looming over him, felt a shiver run down his spine, just as the shadow creature enveloped him with its dark presence. A momentary flash of its eyes indicated that something was terribly wrong. At that instant, Gohan, with a sudden alteration in his expression, went on guard without warning. His gaze, now posed by the shadow creature, glowed with a malevolence that contrasted with his gentle nature. Goku, noticing the sudden tension, turned towards Gohan, but before he could react, Gohan, under the influence of the shadow creature, moved with supernatural speed. The confrontation with Broly had left the Saiyans exhausted, and the shadow creature, seizing the opportunity, vanished into the darkness along with Gohan. Vegeta, realizing the situation, gritted his teeth in fury. The threat persisted, and now Gohan, a valuable ally, was in the hands of the shadows. Goku and Vegeta, despite their exhaustion, prepared for a new confrontation, aware that the battle had not yet come to an end. The tension in the air was palpable, as Goku and Vegeta, still worried about Broly, with determination, turned towards the place where the dark entity had vanished.
Damn it, where'd that thing go?
I don't know, Vegeta, but we must find it before it hurts Gohan.
The two Saiyans, quick as the wind, rushed towards where Gohan had been standing, their senses alert. The shadow creature, now inside Gohan, emerged from the shadows with a sinister laugh.
Looks like they're not as cunning as they thought. Now I have a new toy for my plans. Get out of Gohan, you damn creature.
I'll not allow you to possess my son.
Ha! You think you could stop me? My power possesses even more of your combined forces. Do not underestimate the Saiyans. We have overcome greater challenges than you.
Leave Gohan and face your fate, creature. You'll not be victorious.
The shadow creature, now in control of Gohan, smiled malevolently before responding.
We'll see how long you can resist. Gohan is now an instrument of my will.
The shadow creature possessing Gohan unleashed a burst of dark energy that distorted the surrounding space. Goku and Vegeta suddenly found themselves during a chaotic confrontation, with Gohan now transformed into an instrument of the malevolent entity. The waves of energy radiating from Gohan's possessed figure created an ominous aura that filled the battlefield, defying the Saiyans' endurance and determination. The Saiyans, in their Super Saiyan Blue form, prepared for the impending clash. The shadow creature, using Gohan's body, moved with supernatural agility, dodging the Saiyans' first attacks with grace and malice. Gohan, his eyes now filled with darkness, lunged at Goku with astonishing speed. Goku blocked Gohan's first few blows with difficulty, feeling the enhanced strength and speed of his new controlled son. The fight was intense, each move charged with power and ferocity. Meanwhile, Vegeta positioned himself strategically, assessing the situation, looking for an opening to attack. The shadow creature, through Gohan, unleashed a flurry of attack, which devastating blows that kept Goku on the defensive. However, Goku's ability to adapt quickly to the battle allowed him to counter the attacks and counterattack with his own overwhelming power. Vegeta, sensing an opportunity, lunged at the shadow creature from an unexpected angle. However, the dark entity had sharp reflexes and deflected Vegeta's attack with ease, throwing Gohan against Goku as a distraction. The shadow creature's strategy paid off, as it took advantage of the distraction to hit Vegeta with a beam of dark energy. Vegeta, although he resisted the impact, was momentarily weakened. The entity, now with a malevolent smile, turned to him.
Damn it! This isn't over, shadow creature.
Goku, reacting quickly, stepped between the shadow creature and Vegeta.
Vegeta, hold on! We can't let this thing divide us.
The shadow creature, enjoying the chaos it had sown, released a dark aura that enveloped both Saiyans. The dark energy sought to confuse and weaken their senses. However, the Saiyans' instinctive connection to Ki enabled them to resist the dark influence. The battle raged in a frenzy of clashing colors and energies. Gohan, controlled by the shadow creature, moved with a mixture of speed and agility that defied the laws of physics. Goku and Vegeta, each focusing on their own battlefront, were trying to coordinate their attacks to free Gohan from the dark possession.
Gohan, fight this darkness! You're stronger than this!
Gohan, though showing flashes of resistance, was caught in an internal struggle between his will and the shadow creature's control. The battle grew more challenging. With each passing second, the shadow creature reveled in its ability to manipulate and corrupt one of Earth's mightiest warriors. Vegeta, recovering from the earlier onslaught, threw himself back into the fray. The shadow creature, however, anticipated his attack and gracefully dodged Vegeta's attempts to strike it. The dark entity counterattacked with a series of precise blows that forced Vegeta to retreat.
You damn shadow, don't underestimate the Prince of the Saiyans.
Goku, seeing his partner's difficulty, raised his power to the maximum. Dazzling energy emanated from his Super Saiyan Blue form as he prepared for a concentrated attack. The shadow creature, noticing the glowing threat, diverted its attention to Goku.
Vegeta, keep up the pressure. I'm gonna concentrate my energy to free Gohan.
Vegeta nodded and increased his offensive, distracting the shadow creature as Goku concentrated his power. The fight reached a new level of intensity, with each move echoing across the vast battlefield. The energy collided, creating shockwaves that distorted reality itself. Goku, eyes glowing with determination, unleashed his most powerful attack. A sphere of glowing blue energy formed in his outstretched hands. Charged with the combined strength of the Saiyans, the sphere grew in size and the power as Goku had held it in place.
It's time to free Gohan!
The shadow creature, realizing the threat, moved quickly to stop Goku's attack. Vegeta, taking advantage of the distraction, lunged with renewed fury, looking for an opening to attack. The battle reached its climax when Goku released the energy sphere, ascending it directly towards the shadow creature. The energy sphere burst into a dazzling flash, illuminating the battlefield with intense light. Shockwaves swept through the darkness as Goku's purifying energy sought to free Gohan from the shadow creature's possession. However, as the light faded and the earth stopped shaking, the shadow creature emerged seemingly unharmed. The dark entity, now irritated, turned to the Saiyans with a twisted laugh.
Is that all you can do? My power is unbreakable.
Goku and Vegeta, despite their exhaustion, prepared for the next assault. The battle, far from ending, dragged on into confrontation of epic proportions. Darkness and light collided in an endless clash, with the will of the Saiyans resisting against the entity that threatened to plunge them into the shadows. The dark creature, after resisting Goku's powerful attack, showed a malicious smile. A dark glow enveloped Gohan, and his body began to tremble with intensity. A guttural scream echoed through the air as the dark entity forced a unique transformation on the Saiyan warrior. Gohan, under the shadow creature's influence, contorted and his body was enveloped in a dark, feral energy. The earth trembled with the intensity of the transformation, and Gohan's figure began to change. Defined musculature, red eyes, a wild gaze, long gray hair, and emerging in the new form, Gohan Dark Beast. Vegeta and Goku, shocked by the unexpected evolution, instinctively recoiled from the overwhelming presence of Dark Gohan Beast. The shadow creature had accomplished what it could not do with Broly, unleash a unique and uncontrolled transformation on Gohan. Dark Beast Gohan, now freed from any hint of rationality, roared skyward, emitting an overwhelming energy that shook the battlefield. His eyes glowed with an animalistic intensity, and his posture indicated that human control was suppressed.
This can't be happening. What did that thing do?
The shadow creature managed to unlock something inside Gohan. This won't be easy.
The shadow creature, pleased with the success of its manipulation, watched the scene with satisfaction.
Now, witness my true power. The Saiyan Beast Warrior. How do you plan to stop him?
Dark Beast Gohan let out a deafening roar and lunged towards Vegeta with impressive speed. Dark Beast Gohan's attacks were ferociously savage, his brute strength and speed surpassing even Broly's most rampaging transformation. Vegeta, using his speed and agility, dodged Dark Beast Gohan's first attacks. However, the Saiyan Beast Warrior's ferocity was unpredictable, and Vegeta was forced to deploy all his skill to stay out of range of the devastating attacks. Goku, assessing the situation, transformed into Super Saiyan Blue and rushed to Vegeta's aid. The two Saiyans fought in tactical coordination, looking to open an opportunity to counter Gohan's savage new form. The battle became a whirlwind of energy, with explosions and crashes echoing across the battlefield. The shadow creature in the shadows continued to manipulate and fuel Dark Beast Gohan's fury. The Saiyan strategy was becoming more and more challenging as Dark Beast Gohan seemed to be one step ahead, anticipating their moves.
Damn it! Gohan Beast is too unpredictable.
We must find a way to free Gohan from this transformation. We can't let the shadow control his true power.
As the Saiyans faced Gohan Beast's fury, the shadow creature watched from the shadows, enjoying the chaos he had unleashed. The situation was becoming more critical with each passing moment, and the Saiyans' endurance was being tested in the face of Beast Gohan's uncontrollable fury. The battle raged on in a titanic struggle between light and darkness, with the hope of freeing Gohan from the influence of the shadow creature hanging in delicate balance. The Saiyans, determined to overcome this challenge, faced an enemy that had managed to unleash an even greater internal threat than before. While the intense battle raged on the battlefield, Piccolo, the Namekian sage, was immersed in his mental training somewhere secluded. His concentration was so deep that he could feel an abrupt shift in ki, a disturbance that reverberated through space and time. A shiver ran down his back, indicating the gravity of the situation.
Something's not right.
The Namekian instantly stood up, his cloak billowing as he focused on the direction of the glowing chaos. The power he felt was not just brute force. It was an amalgam of dark energies that seemed to defy the very essence of reality. Wasting no time, Piccolo prepared to approach this side of the conflict. Back on the battlefield, Goku and Vegeta fought valiantly against Dark Beast Gohan, who moved with uncontrollable ferocity under the influence of the shadow creature. The dark entity, sensing Piccolo's arrival, smirked.
Looks like we have a new guest. This just gets more interesting.
Goku and Vegeta focused on Gohan Beast, noticing Piccolo's presence as he appeared on the battlefield with a serenity that contrasted with the surrounding chaos.
What happened here? What have you done with Gohan? That shadow thing possessed Gohan and transformed it into a wild beast.
We can't free Gohan this way. The shadow creature manipulates his power in unimaginable ways.
Dark Beast Gohan, noticing Piccolo's arrival, turned to him with wild eyes. The shadow creature, enjoying the chaos, prepared for the next act of this heartbreaking play.
Welcome, Piccolo. You're just in time to witness the inevitable downfall of these Saiyans.
Don't underestimate the Saiyans or my determination. I'm here to free Gohan.
The Namekian braced himself for the confrontation, deploying his ki with an intensity that made it clear he would not be a mere spectator in this battle. Dark Beast Gohan, fueled by the shadowy influence, roared and lunged towards Piccolo with a speed that defied all logic. The battle became even more chaotic with Piccolo's entrance. His movements were precise and calculated, contrasting with the wild ferocity of Dark Beast Gohan. Goku and Vegeta, aware of Piccolo's strategic skill, adjusted their approach to coordinate their attacks with the Namekian. Meanwhile, the shadow creature watched the battle with a Machiavellian smile, enjoying the confrontation between the forces of light and shadow. The dark entity was determined to prove that its influence was insurmountable. The fight unfolded in a whirlwind of colliding energies, with Piccolo demonstrating his tactical and strategic prowess. Dark Beast Gohan, however, remained a formidable challenge, his erratic movements and uncontrolled strength testing the tenacity of the warriors on the battlefield.
Goku, Vegeta, we need to plan to break the connection between Gohan and that shadow creature.
You're right, Piccolo. We need to attack from different fronts and destabilize that connection.
I'll take care of keeping Beast Gohan busy. Kakarot, you use the connection you have with your son to try to isolate the shadow creature.
Goku and Vegeta, coordinating their efforts with Piccolo's strategic expertise, went on the assault. Piccolo used his wisdom to be able to devise a way to get Dark Beast Gohan out of said possession, while Vegeta unleashed his fury with calculated attacks to keep the beast at bay. As the battle continued, the shadow creature began to feel the pressure of the combined strategy of the Saiyans and Piccolo. The connection between Gohan and the dark entity was under threat, and the shadow creature, despite its confidence, was beginning to show signs of concern. The battle was far from over, but the warriors' resilience was growing stronger in the face of the adversity that loomed over them. As Piccolo continued his mental struggle to free Gohan from the shadow creature's possession, his Namekian senses sharpened. Keen perception led him to identify a small shadow leech clinging to Dark Beast Gohan's lower neck, a detail that had not been evident in Broly's previous possession due to his long hair covering that region.
That's it. The key in this little shadow leech on his neck. We must eliminate it to free Gohan.
Piccolo's revelation attracted the attention of Vegeta and Goku on the physical battlefield. Vegeta, upon hearing this, turned his gaze to the back of Gohan Beast's dark neck and noticed the presence of the Shadow Leech.
A Shadow Leech? That explains why we couldn't free Broly this way.
How do we eliminate it without harming Gohan?
As Piccolo struggled to maintain his mental connection, he analyzed this situation and came up with a strategy.
If we attack the Shadow Leech directly, we might harm Gohan in the process. We need a precise way to eliminate it without endangering his life. So what's the plan, Piccolo? Goku, you've mastered Ultra Instinct. but you can only maintain it for a few seconds. We need to take advantage of those brief moments to distract Dark Beast Gohan and allow you to get close enough to destroy the Shadow Leech.
Understood, Piccolo. I'll do my best.
But how do we make sure Beast Gohan doesn't attack while Kakarot's approaching? That's the tricky part. We need to keep Gohan busy and distracted. Vegeta, your attacks must be precise and constant, keeping his attention on you.
I will, but Kakarot, don't make me regret this.
The battle resumed with renowned intensity. Vegeta went on the offensive, attacking Gohan Dark Beast with a series of swift and powerful blows. Gohan responded with ferocity, but Vegeta maintained agile, dodging his attacks while keeping the Savage Saiyan warrior's attention. At that moment, Goku concentrated, channeling Ultra Instinct. An aura of flickering energy surrounded him as he activated the powerful transformation. His speed increased exponentially, allowing him to easily dodge Dark Beast Gohan's attacks.
Now, Goku, now's your chance.
Goku in his Ultra Instinct state moved with superhuman speed towards Gohan's rear. The shadow creature, still focused on the fierce confrontation with Vegeta, did not notice Goku's approach.
This is my chance to end this!
With pinpoint accuracy, Goku reached out his hand and touched the small Shadow Leech on Gohan's neck. The leech, upon being touched by the Ultra Instinct energy, began to fade, emitting a dark screech before dissolving completely. Dark Beast Gohan, losing connection with the Shadow Leech, shook violently, as if releasing himself from a trance. Vegeta, noticing the change, cautiously stepped back as Goku returned to his normal state. What happened?
Kakarot seems to have found a way to free you from that thing.
It was risky, but it worked.
Well done, Goku, but don't let your guard down. This shadow creature might have more tricks up its sleeve.
The immediate threat had been neutralized. The shadow creature, watching from the shadows, moving away unnoticed by the Saiyan warriors, was not about to give up, so the shadow creature set out to return to its master. After the terrifying moment that the Z warriors had experienced, Goku and Vegeta realized that Beerus and Whis were not on Earth. They had disappeared just moments before the shadow creatures appeared on Earth. This is because Daishinkan discovered that Zeno-sama had been killed by his father and immediately summoned all the angels and gods of destruction. In the majestic realm of all, Daishinkan, the high priest, summoned all the angels and gods of destruction of the existing universes. The atmosphere in the hall was unusually tense, and concern was reflected in the faces of those present. Daishinkan, with his usual calmness, prepared to share the disturbing truth he had discovered.
Angels and gods of destruction, the time has come to face a powerful truth. Zeno-sama, our beloved king of all, has been slain.
Silence fell over the hall. The angels and the gods of destruction exchanged looks of disbelief and dismay. No one expected that such a tragedy could occur, especially at the hands of someone so powerful.
My investigation revealed that the one responsible for this abominable act was Zeno-sama's own father.
The news resounded like a somber echo in the room. Everyone present processed the shocking revelation. The omnipresent figure of Zeno-sama, the supreme deity, had been shattered by his own protagonist. Mohito, Sidra's angel, spoke in a worried voice. How is it possible that a being as powerful as Zeno-sama's father could have committed such an act?
That is a question for which I still have no answers. But now we must face the consequences of this event. The stability of the multiverse is in danger.
Arak, the god of destruction of Quitella, asked,
"And what measures will we take in the face of this threat? What'll happen to the throne of Zeno-sama?"
That is a question we must discuss and resolve. For now, the throne remains empty, and our duty is to maintain peace and balance. But before we make hasty decisions, we need to fully understand the magnitude of this situation.
Beerus and Whis prepared to inform the gods of destruction and angels of all universes about what they had witnessed while on planet Earth with Goku and Vegeta. The hall of the realm of everything was filled with celestial beings, each one expectant and worried about the news they were about to receive.
Attention everyone! We have crucial information to share about the events that have been unfolded.
Before we are summoned here, the father of Zeno-sama appeared on all the planets of the multiverse. Surprise was reflected on the faces of those present. Murmurs and whispers filled the room, as the gods of destruction and angels exchanged looks of disbelief. His visit was not simply to report the death of Zeno-sama. He announced the holding of the tournament that would determine the survival of the planets in each universe. Additional rumors filled the room, creating a constant buzz of concern. The gods of destruction and angels wanted to understand the implications of such an announcement.
He informed the rules of the tournament and the intentions behind such a competition, but it's necessary that we all work together to get answers and face this threat. It is time to join forces and overcome this crisis. The fate of our universes is at stake.
As the gods and angels absorbed the gravity of the situation, in every corner of the hall of the realm of everything, conversations and plans were brewing to confront the mysterious tournament that threatened to upset the balance of the multiverse. Uncertainty hung in the air, but the determination of the divine beings was determined to face the unknown that lay ahead. In the Hall of Everything, Daishinkan, the High Priest, sensed the imminent arrival of extremely powerful entities heading for the different planets of the multiverse. His face reflected seriousness as he prepared to inform all the angels and gods of destruction present of the coming threat.
Gods and angels of destruction, the time has come to face a new and challenging threat. Entities of great power are headed towards the planets of our universes, and their goal seems to be a direct confrontation with the strongest warriors of each world.
The expressions of those present became serious. Aware of the gravity of the situation, Daishinkan continued with determination.
It's crucial that we move quickly to protect the strongest warriors of each planet, regardless of which universe they belong to. The threat we face does not respect universal boundaries, and we must act with unity to preserve the balance.
Vados, the Angel of Champa, raised his hand.
How do you plan for us to move, Daishinkan? We each have responsibilities in our universes. I understand the complexity of this situation, but the magnitude of this threat requires immediate action. I suggest that every angel and god of destruction move to the planets threatened by this unknown force. We must prevent the strongest warriors from being defeated before we can fully understand our enemies.
Sounds like a sensible plan, Daishinkan. If we all work together, we can protect our warriors and gain more information about these powerful entities. Each angel and god of destruction nodded in agreement, accepting the need to act immediately. They moved quickly to the various planets, casting aside universal barriers in a joint effort to safeguard the multiverse.
May the wisdom and power of each of you guide this effort. Let us not underestimate this new threat. Our duty is to protect the existence of our universes.
With those words, the angels and gods of destruction dispersed, leaving the Hall of All in preparation to face a challenge that transcended universal boundaries and demanded the collaboration of all divine beings. Uncertainty hung in the air, but determination to preserve the balance of the multiverse guided the powerful beings in their joint mission. The angels and gods of destruction quickly teleported to the threatened planets, each determined to protect the strongest warriors on the various planets. In the blink of an eye, the skies lit up with flashes of divine energy as Awamo and Ewin, Cognac and Quintella, Matanu and Geen, Whis and Beerus, and the other angels and gods of destruction headed toward their assigned destinations. The planet Thraxis Nocturnae lay peaceful in the corner of the cosmos, its nocturnal luminosity radiating a tranquility that was about to be disturbed. In the vast space, Awamo the angel, with his small book in hand, and his god of destruction Ewin, an imposing figure with a stern gaze, detected the arrival of a shadow creature, a minion of Zeno-sama's father. The creature, shrouded in malevolent darkness, descended with malevolent determination towards Thraxis Nocturnae. Ewin, without hesitation, deployed his energy of destruction while Awano stood by, hoping to resolve the conflict without a bath of chaos.
Creature, your darkness will not be tolerated in this realm. Stop your destructive plans.
The shadow creature emanated a guttural growl, its presence emanating an unnatural energy that distorted the space around it. The space battle began with an explosion of opposing forces. Ewin launched destructive beams, while Awamo used his speed to dodge the attacks and assess the situation.
Ewin, this creature's stronger than we imagined. We must be cautious.
I know, Awamo, but we can't let him destroy Thraxis Nocturnae. We must give our best.
The shadow creature, agile and evasive, responded to the attacks with dark energy waves that distorted space. The battle spread across the firmament, leaving traces of destructive energy in its wake. Iwin tried to anticipate the creature's movements. However, the shadow creature proved to be agile and adaptive, countering every strategy with an unmatched dark force.
Our conventional methods don't work. Iwin, we need to combine our forces.
I agree, Awamo. It's time to show them the true power of destruction. Awamo and Iwin merged their energies, creating a flash of light that defied the surrounding darkness. The shadow creature, perceiving the threat, intensified its own energy, generating a collision of cosmic forces that shook space itself. The battle reached a fever pitch, with cosmic explosions lighting up the scene as Awamo and Iwin struggled to contain the darkness. This struggle took place not only on the physical plane, but also on the spiritual one, where the will to protect Thraxis Nocturne was pitted against the ruthless ambition of the shadow creature. The fusion of Awamo and Iwin unleashed a dazzling energy that eclipsed even the nocturnal luminosity of Thraxis Nocturne. The gold and violet glow enveloped the divine couple as they prepared to face the dark threat looming over the peaceful planet.
It's time to show the true extent of our power, Awamo.
The shadow creature, aware of the growing threat, rushed towards them with supernatural speed. Awamo, with his keen perception, anticipated every movement of the creature, allowing the couple to dodge its onslaughts with heavenly elegance.
Keep calm, Iwin. We must synchronize our movements to counteract their darkness.
Iwin nodded and unleashed a series of destructive energy blasts that lit up the space around him. However, the shadow creature responded with amazing agility, dodging every attack with meandering movements. The battle became a cosmic game of strategy and speed. The angel Awamo and the god of destruction Iwin soon realized that in order to defeat this entity, they would need a coordinated attack that transcended the limits of their individual abilities. In a moment of perfect timing, they unleashed a gale of combined energy. Awamo channeled the energy of destruction while Iwin released violet flashes of destruction.
Focus your energy, Awamo. Let's get rid of this darkness once and for all.
Awamo nodded and joined the attack with determination. The fused energy of both angel and god turned into a spear of golden and violet light that pierced through space with an impressive speed. The shadow creature, caught in the torrent of power, let out a heart-rending howl as it was enveloped by the luminosity. The impact was abysmal, generating an expansive wave that shook the cosmos. The darkness that enveloped the creature began to dissipate, revealing its twisted and weakened form. Awamo and Iwin, exhausted but triumphant, stood on guard ready for any eventuality.
We have managed to contain their darkness, but we can't let our guard down.
The shadow creature, now visibly weakened, recoiled before the imposing presence of Awamo and Iwin. The light had prevailed over the darkness in the cosmic corner of Thraxis Nocturne. The divine couple remained firm in their duty to protect the planet that this creature wanted to destroy. However, the battle was not yet over, and the fates of the planets remained uncertain in the vastness of space. After the shocked combined attack of Awamo and Iwin, the space around Thraxis Nocturne was vibrating with the residual energy of the cosmic battle. The shadow creature, apparently weakened, remained suspended in the cosmic void, enveloped in a dark glow that seemed to absorb the surrounding light. The divine couple watched cautiously, aware that the fate of Thraxis Nocturne was still hung in the cosmic balance.
Iwin, something's not right. The darkness of that creature seems to be getting stronger instead of weaker. It seems that our attack has absorbed by her, but it shouldn't be possible. How can he transform our energy of destruction to his own power?
The shadow creature, now surrounded by a more intense aura, began to change its shape. Its twisted figure became more defined. His eyes shone with a malevolent lucidity. The darkness emanating from her was becoming denser, distorting the space around her.
You have underestimated my true potential, angel and god of destruction. Your energy has strengthened me beyond your comprehension.
The divine couple prepared for what was to come next, aware that the threat they faced had evolved. The shadow creature, now empowered by the absorbed energy, charged towards them with renewed speed and ferocity.
We need to be more cautious, Iwin. It seems that every blow we inflict makes her stronger. Understood, Owamo, but we can't allow this darkness to devour Thraxus Nocturne.
The battle resumed with increased intensity. The shadow creature attacked with bursts of dark energy that cut through space, while Owamo and Ewan responded with flashes of golden and violet light. The cosmic dance of lights and shadows painted an epic picture in the vastness of the universe. Each blow and backlash echoed like thunder in space, distorting reality itself. Owamo, with his keen perception, tried to anticipate the movements of the dark creature, but the dark entity proved to be unpredictable. Ewan, with his energy of destruction, sought to weaken the creature, but his attacks seemed to be absorbed and turned into an additional source of power.
Every time we hit her, her power increases. We can't go on like this. We must find a way to counteract his ability, to absorb our energy. Do you have any ideas, Owamo?
Owamo pondered for a moment, his angelic mind working in search of a solution. Meanwhile, the shadow creature, aware of its opponent's confusion, took the opportunity to launch a surprise attack. A wave of dark energy enveloped Owamo and Ewan, distorting their perception and weakening their defenses.
Your resistance is useless. I am the embodiment of darkness. His light cannot prevail before me.
The situation was becoming more and more desperate for the divine couple as they struggled to resist the shadow creature's attacks. Owamo turned his attention to the small book he always carried with him. An idea began to form in his mind.
Ewan, I think I have an idea, but we need to synchronize our attacks in a different way. Explain yourself, Owamo.
Owamo explained his plan to Ewan, who nodded in understanding. Both God and Angel prepared to put their strategy into practice. The shadow creature, confident in its superiority, launched into the attack again, but this time Owamo and Ewan were ready to respond differently.
Now, Ewan, combine your energy of destruction with mine in a more controlled way.
Ewan nodded and channeled his energy to Owamo, who, in turn, merged it with his. Instead of launching a direct attack, they created a sphere of combined light and energy that floated between them.
Do you think this tactic will change the outcome?
We'll see.
The energy sphere began to slowly expand, emanating a glowing light that contrasted the surrounding darkness. The shadow creature, curious but confident, watched the development with disdain.
The fused power is not only destructive, but it also has properties that counteract its absorption capacity.
The combined energy sphere, now reaching its maximum expansion, released a wave of light and energy that enveloped the shadow creature. This time, instead of absorbing the power, the darkness that characterized her began to dissipate.
What is this? My power should not be weakened.
We created an energy that goes beyond destruction and creation, one that neutralizes the darkness that you're trying to absorb.
The shadow creature, weakened by Owamo and Ewan's strategic counterattack, retreated as the combined energy sphere continued to exert its effect. The light emanating from the sphere began to purify the darkness surrounding the entity, revealing its original form before corruption.
It seems our tactic's working, but we must make sure we contain it completely. We can't let our guard down. Let's continue with the strategy until the creature's completely neutralized.
The space battle continued, but this time Owamo and Ewan had the upper hand. His sphere of combined energy continued to exert its purifying effect, dispelling the darkness that threatened Thraxus Nocturne. With each passing moment, the shadow creature grew weaker. The light of hope began to shine in the corner of the cosmos that was once on the verge of destruction. The shadow creature, weakened by Owamo and Ewan's strategy, retreated into space, its distorted form twisting as the combined energy sphere continued to purify the darkness that enveloped it. In a desperate attempt to regain his strength, the shadow creature began to explore its surroundings, looking for an opportunity to turn the situation in his favor.
My power is weakened here. I need to find a place where darkness prevails.
While exploring, the shadow creature noticed something that favored him. His eyes flashed with malevolent anticipation as he discovered that this world was called Thraxus Nocturne because it was a planet plunged into shadows. The dark entity smiled malevolently as he realized that this planet could provide the darkness needed to revitalize his power.
Ha 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 ha! Thraxus Nocturne, a feast of darkness awaits me!
With amazing speed, the shadow creature launched itself towards the planet, traversing space with great speed. Owamo and Ewin, aware of his intentions, followed closely, determined to stop any attempt by the shadow creature to plunge into the darkness of the planet. As the creature approached Thraxis Nocturne, the darkness of the planet seemed to intensify, as if responding to its presence. The planet's nighttime atmosphere shone with a faint luminosity, offering a fascinating contrast to the surrounding stars.
Ewin, we must prevent the creature from being filled with dark power. If she succeeds, it'll be even more difficult to stop her. Understood, Owamo. We'll not allow the darkness of this planet to fall into the hands of that entity.
The shadow creature descended on Thraxis Nocturne with a terrifying impetus. As she approached, the darkness seemed to take her in, enveloping her with a gloomy welcome. The shadow creature began to absorb the darkness of the planet, its twisted form vibrating with a new energy as it filled with the essence of Thraxis Nocturne.
Ha 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 ha! Yes, this darkness will strengthen me. Nothing can stop me now.
Owamo and Ewin, wasting no time, headed towards the shadow creature, determined to stop its advance before it became unstoppable. The battle in the shadows of Thraxis Nocturne was about to take a very drastic turn.
We cannot allow this darkness to completely corrupt this creature. We must stop her before she becomes invincible. Your previous strategy was effective, Owamo. Let's keep working together to counter his power.
Deep in the shadows of Thraxis Nocturne, the intense presence of the absorbing shadow creature did not go unnoticed by the most powerful warriors on the planet. Turles, Bardock, Raditz, Frieza, and his brother Cooler felt the darkness increasing around them and, with a mixture of amazement and concern, headed toward the epicenter of the threat.
Something's not right. The darkness in this place is getting denser.
Whatever it is, we cannot let it threaten Thraxis Nocturne. Let's investigate.
The warriors moved nimbly across the gloomy terrain, advancing towards the source of the darkness. As they got closer, the atmosphere became heavier, as if the shadow itself wanted to resist their advance.
The darkness is different. I feel a strange pressure. I'm not afraid of the dark, but this is unusual. Cooler, stay alert.
Understood, Frieza. Let's find out what's going on.
Suddenly, a wave of dark energy erupted before them, revealing the shadow creature that was absorbing the darkness of the planet. His twisted figure and malevolent aura were as evident as the threat he posed to Thraxis Nocturne.
Warriors of this planet, his darkness feeds me. Soon I will be unstoppable.
We won't let you destroy Thraxis Nocturne. Get ready, creature.
The warriors went on the attack, each unleashing their unique power against the dark entity. Turles unleashed his evil aura, releasing bursts of destructive energy. Bardock channeled his Saiyan fury into powerful blows, while Raditz and Cooler coordinated their attacks to create a symphony of destruction. Frieza intensifying the struggle.
This creature doesn't know who he's up against.
Your resistance is useless. Each blow only increases my power.
The shadow creature, powered by the darkness of Thraxis Nocturne, absorbed attacks with defiant ease. Each impact seemed to strengthen rather than weaken it, plunging the warriors into the disturbing reality that they were facing an enemy that fed on its own darkness.
It's not working. He's getting stronger and stronger.
We need to change our strategy. We can't let it absorb all the darkness on the planet.
While the warriors struggled to find an effective strategy, the shadow creature, with its distorted laughter, continued to absorb the darkness, becoming more and more powerful. The Battle of Thraxis Nocturne's survival was at its most critical, and the warriors knew that they had to find a solution before the dark entity became invincible. The dark aura released by the shadow creature enveloped the warriors of Thraxis Nocturne, gradually weakening them. The warriors struggled to stay on their feet as the entity's malevolent energy infiltrated their bodies, obscuring their vital forces.
This is it. Too much.
I can't let that defeat us like this.
The warriors, despite their bravery, were overcome by the darkness emanating from the aura of the shadow creature. At that critical moment, when hope seemed to be fading, a heavenly light pierced the shadows. Owamo and Ewin, the angels charged with protecting Thraxis Nocturne, arrived on the battlefield.
The darkness emanating from this creature is breathtaking. We cannot allow it to take over this planet. Time to show these warriors how to fight true darkness.
The angel spread his wings, and together with the god of destruction, they advanced towards the shadow creature, his presence radiating a luminosity that defied the malevolent nature of the dark aura. As it approached, the dark entities sensed the arrival of divine beings and turned to face the new threat.
More insignificant beings. His light will be devoured by my darkness.
Don't underestimate the power of light. Darkness cannot resist the true essence of creation.
Owamo extended his hand, and a purifying light enveloped the battlefield, counteracting the dark effect of the creature's aura. Ewin, on the other hand, deployed the energy of destruction, creating a perfect balance between light and darkness. The shadow creature, for the first time, felt the pressure of forces that it could not easily absorb or resist. The conflict took a turn, and the battle became more intense as the angel and god of destruction faced the dark entity with a unique combination of light and destruction.
The real struggle starts now. We'll protect Thraxus Nocturne from the darkness you represent.
The fight between the angels and the shadow creature reached impressive levels, with bursts of energy illuminating the dark planet of Thraxus Nocturne. Meanwhile, the warriors, freed from the debilitating effects of the dark aura, watched the fight, hoping that their planet would not be destroyed. In the dark skies of Thraxus Nocturne, the stage was transformed into a cosmic battlefield, where divine light and malevolent darkness collided in an epic confrontation. Owamo and Ewin, the guardians of this planet, displayed their celestial power with a grace and precision that defied description. The glow of the purifying light emanating from Ewin and Owamo spread across the space, illuminating the shadows that the shadow creature was trying to grasp. Ewin and Owamo's every move was a ballet of divine energy, as they gracefully dodged the dark attacks encountered with unstoppable force. Owamo's wings shone with a resplendent light, like stars in the night, as he invoked the very essence of creation to repel the dark forces rising up against him. By his side, Ewin radiated an imposing presence, with his penetrating gaze fixed on the creature as it defying the darkness itself. The shadow creature, on the other hand, was fighting with an impressive ferocity, trying to resist the overwhelming power of Ewin and Owamo. Their dark attacks were launched like ravenous shadows, seeking to consume the divine light that surrounded them. However, every attack was countered by the impenetrable force of Ewin and Owamo, who remained firm in their purpose to protect the planet. The clash between light and darkness created a symphony of cosmic energy, with flashes of light and bursts of energy illuminating the firmament. The light will always prevail over the darkness. Your power is formidable, but it cannot resist the purity of creation.
You can't stop me. I'm the very embodiment of darkness.
Darkness can be powerful, but the real strength lies in balance, and we represent that balance.
Ewin and Owamo continued to deploy their energy with amazing precision, creating light barriers that repelled the attacks of the shadow creature. Every movement of Ewin and Owamo was imbued with a divine elegance and grace, while the creature struggled with a desperate ferocity.
Our mission is to protect the harmony of the universe, and that includes protecting this planet from your darkness.
You can't stop me. I'm inevitable.
The shadow creature launched waves of dark energy, but Ewin and Owamo easily repelled them, maintaining an opposing presence in the midst of battle. Every blow of Ewin and Owamo resonated with the force of creation, while the creature struggled more and more desperately.
The darkness can be a challenge, but our determination's unwavering. We'll not let you destroy this planet.
Your power may be formidable, but it cannot equal the eternal light of the universe. The battle continued with Ewin and Owamo and the shadow creature facing off in an epic clash between light and dark. In the midst of the struggle, Father Zeno, silently watched from his kingdom, perceived the magnitude of the conflict. With an imperceptible gesture, he decided to intervene, taking Ewin and Owamo to a mental plane where they could confront the shadow creature in a terrain beyond the physical. In a flash of dazzling light, Owamo and Ewin were transported to an ethereal realm, where the laws of the universe twisted and blurred.
Where are we, Ewin? We have entered the realm of the mind, a place where reality is molded according to the will of the observer. Here the real battle be fought in the deepest corners of our being.
While Iwamo and Iwin were transported to a mental plane by Father Zeno, the shadow creature continued its fierce assault against the warriors of Thraxis Nocturne. Turles, Bardock, Raditz, Frieza, and Cooler, the most powerful warriors on the planet, rose up against the darkness that threatened to consume their home. The shadow creature, imbued with a dark and malevolent aura, hovered over them with an overwhelming presence. He distorted his energy, enveloping everything around him, tearing reality itself apart, and threatening to plunge the planet into an abyss of chaos.
We won't let you destroy our home, shadow monster.
We, the warriors of Thraxis Nocturne, are not afraid of the dark.
We have faced much greater dangers than you, creature.
We will fight together to protect our world.
The shadow creature launched a powerful dark attack towards the warriors, but they responded with relentless ferocity. Turles, his eyes shining with determination, unleashed a shower of destructive energy, summoning the very essence of nature to channel it in a torrent of energetic attacks. Their powerful attacks cut through the darkness with devastating precision, creating dazzling explosions that lit up the planet's night sky. Bardock, with his fiery ki and indomitable spirit, channeled his energy into a powerful attack. His fists were burning with a searing intensity as he launched a concentrated burst of energy towards the shadow creature, challenging its strength with its own. Bardock's attack resonated with the determination of an invincible warrior, willing to give everything for the protection of his world. Raditz and Cooler, united in battle, joined in a coordinated assault on the shadow creature. With fluid and coordinated movements, they launched bursts of energy from different angles, creating a barrier of attacks that surrounded their enemy. The shadow creature struggled to defend itself against the combined onslaught of the two powerful warriors, but its resistance was challenged by the determination and skill of Raditz and Cooler. Meanwhile, Frieza, with his golden form glowing with a golden aura, was preparing to unleash his full power against the shadow creature. His eyes shone with a cold and calculated determination as he focused his energy on a devastating attack. With a graceful and precise movement, Frieza unleashed a burst of golden energy that swirled with unparalleled destructive power, threatening to envelop the shadow creature in a mantle of fire and destruction. The battle escalated as the warriors of Thraxis Nocturne bravely faced the darkness that threatened their world. Every blow, every burst of energy echoed through space, creating a spectacle of destruction and determination. Meanwhile, on the mental plane, Iwamo and Iwin were engaged in a metaphysical struggle against Father Zeno, an omnipotent entity whose presence radiated an aura of indescribable power. Iwin and Iwamo, aware of the gravity of the situation, desperately sought the intervention of Father Zeno to counter the threat of the shadow creature. However, to their surprise, Father Zeno solemnly informed them that they could not intervene directly, since the balance of the universe had to be kept intact even in times of crisis. Iwamo and Iwin, although unhappy with Father Zeno's decision, understood the importance of respecting the laws of the cosmos. With determination, they plunged even deeper into the metaphysical struggle, using all their ingenuity and power to find a solution to the crisis unfolding in Thraxis Nocturne. As a confrontation on the mental plane reached its climax, Iwamo and Iwin found themselves face to face with the imposing Father Zeno. His figure radiated an indisputable authority, but also an aura of mystery that aroused restlessness in the Iwin and Iwamo. Iwamo, with his usual serenity, broke the tense silence that filled the ethereal space. "Father Zeno," he began in a firm but respectful tone, "could it be you that... Were you the one who sent the shadow creatures to destroy the planets?" Father Zeno, with an unflappable expression, nodded slowly.
I did it for the good of the universe,
he replied calmly. Although his voice resonated with a power that shook Iwin and Iwamo,
sometimes drastic measures must be taken to preserve the cosmic balance.
Iwin, with a flash of indignation in his eyes, could not contain himself anymore.
But that doesn't justify the chaos and destruction you've unleashed,
he exclaimed, his voice echoing with unshakable determination.
There are other ways to restore balance without resorting to violence and darkness.
Father Zeno observed the god of destruction and his angel with a penetrating gaze, as if he were evaluating their words and their posture.
Your compassion is admirable, but sometimes it's necessary to sacrifice a few pieces to save the entire board,
he said in an enigmatic tone. Awamo and Iwin exchanged determined glances. Although they respected Father Zeno's authority, they knew that they had to follow their own principles and convictions. With courage, they prepared to challenge the omnipotent being in front of them, willing to fight for what they believed was right, even if it meant facing the divinity itself. The air on the mental plane was charged with tension, as Awamo and Iwin prepared to face Father Zeno. Their divine auras collided in a show of titanic forces, as Iwin and Awamo prepared to challenge the supreme being in front of them. Awamo, with his heavenly book in hand, looked at Father Zeno with determination.
Father Zeno, although we respect your authority, we cannot allow you to continue with this destruction, he stated firmly. We'll fight for peace and balance in the universe, even if it means standing up to you.
Father Zeno, with an impenetrable calm, nodded in recognition.
Your courage is admirable, but you will not be able to stop me,
he replied calmly.
The fate of the universe is in my hands, and I'll do whatever it takes to preserve its balance.
Without further words, the battle began with a burst of divine energy. Awamo unleashed his celestial power, summoning rays of light that he threw against Father Zeno, while Iwin threw waves of energy with determination. However, Father Zeno showed impressive resilience, deflecting every attack with surprising ease. The fight went on for what seemed like an eternity, with Iwin and Awamo and Father Zeno trading punches and counterpunches in a cosmic dance of power and skill. Every movement was imbued with a supernatural force, while the mental plane trembled under the intensity of his conflict. However, as time passed, Awamo and Iwin began to feel the weight of their opponent. Father Zeno's power was overwhelming, and every blow Iwin and Awamo received weakened them even more. Despite their bravery and determination, it seemed that they were fighting against an impossible-to-defeat force. Awamo, panting from the effort, looked at his companion with concern.
Iwin, we can't go on like this,
he admitted sincerely.
Father Zeno's too powerful for us.
Iwin, though exhausted, nodded determinedly.
I know, Awamo, but we can't give up,
he replied firmly.
We must keep fighting for Thraxus Nocturne and for all beings in the universe.
With a final effort, Iwin and Awamo gathered their forces to launch a final attack against Father Zeno. However, the Supreme Being easily overcame them, deflecting his power with a contemptuous gesture. Father Zeno looked at Iwin and Awamo with a mixture of admiration and regret.
They're brave, but their struggle has come to an end, he solemnly declared. Accept your defeat and let fate take its course.
With a resigned sigh, Awamo and Iwin surrendered to Father Zeno's overwhelming strength. Although they had fought with all their heart and soul, they knew that they could not defeat the Supreme Being in front of them. Father Zeno, with a compassionate look, looked at them benevolently.
Rest now, my brave creations,
he said gently.
His bravery will be remembered throughout the universe.
Father Zeno, with an unflappable expression, extended his hand towards the exhausted Iwin and Awamo. In an instant, a powerful burst of cosmic energy emanated from his palm, enveloping Awamo and Iwin in a dazzling radiance. Iwin and Awamo screamed in agony as Father Zeno's energy enveloped them, feeling every fiber of their being torn apart under the relentless power of the Supreme Being. Their bodies, imbued with divine light, were slowly consumed in the maelstrom of energy, fading little by little into the ether of the cosmos. Awamo and Iwin fought with all their might to resist the cataclysm that engulfed them, but it was useless. The power of Father Zeno surpassed them in every respect, and they were soon reduced to mere shadows of their former glory. With the last gasp, Awamo and Iwin exploded, leaving body parts all over the mental space, dissipating into cosmic nothingness while their essence merged with the universe. At that precise moment, we return to the earthly plane, where the fierce battle between the most powerful warriors of Thraxus Nocturne and the shadow creature was reaching its climax. Bursts of energy and thunderous crashes echoed in the air, while Bardock, in the middle of the combat, glimpsed Awamo and Iwin, who were lying unconscious on the ground, enveloped in a halo of divine light. Surprise and dismay were reflected on the faces of the warriors, who momentarily stopped their frantic struggle upon realizing the situation. Bardock, his eyes wide open, watched in horror as Iwin and Awamo's bodies began to shake, emanating flashes of energy that increased in intensity with each passing second. A tense silence enveloped the battlefield as everyone watched the scene in disbelief. Suddenly, a heart-rending explosion echoed in the air, making the earth and sky tremble. Bardock and the other warriors were thrown back by the force of the explosion, protecting themselves as best as they could from the shockwave that was spreading around them. When the afterglow of the explosion faded, what was left was a smoking crater where Awamo and Ewin once stood. The warriors slowly stood up, stunned by what they had just witnessed, as the shadow creature, now shrouded in an even denser darkness, prepared to lash out again before the protecting warriors of Thraxus Nocturne. Bardock clenched his fist determinedly, feeling a mixture of sadness and fury burn inside him. He knew that they must continue the fight, not only for the honor of their planet, but also in memory of the brave fallen guardians. With a war cry, the warriors rushed into combat again, determined to avenge the loss of their comrades and protect their home from the darkness that threatened to consume it. After the devastating explosion that killed Awamo and Ewin, the warriors of Thraxus Nocturne gathered in a circle, still stunned by what had happened. Bardock, with a gloomy look, broke the silence with a grave tone.
Damn it! What the hell just happened?
Turles, frowning, shook his head in disbelief.
I don't know, but we can't let this sacrifice be in vain. We need to get this thing over with once and for all.
Raditz, with his fist clenched, furiously nodded determinedly.
You're right! Awamo and Ewin gave their lives to protect this planet. We cannot disappoint his sacrifice.
Frieza, with his usual impassive expression, spoke in a cold and calculated tone.
The death of Ewin and Awamo should not be in vain. We must unite and concentrate our efforts on defeating that shadow creature.
Cooler, with a serious look, added determinedly,
We are facing an unprecedented threat, but if we fight together, we can overcome it. Let's do it for the honor of Thraxus Nocturne, for the legacy of our brave comrades.
Bardock nodded solemnly, his jaw tense with determination.
So, are we in agreement? We'll fight together until the end and avenge our fallen.
The warriors nodded in agreement, sharing a look of determination and unity. With their hearts filled with determination, they prepared to face once again the darkness that threatened their home. As the warriors prepared to face the shadow creature again, a fierce determination burned in their hearts. Turles, feeling the energy of the battle, was the first to unleash his power.
It's time to show them our true power!
With a powerful scream, Turles wrapped himself in an aura of energy. Her dark hair turned golden and her eyes shone with a dazzling intensity. The energy of the Super Saiyan emanated from his being, infusing strength and determination into his entire being. Raditz, inspired by Turtle's example, followed suit.
It's my turn!
With a burst of energy, Raditz's dark hair bristled, turning golden just like his brother's. His ki increased dramatically, emanating a commanding presence that filled the battlefield. Seeing the transformation of his comrades, Bardock also joined the fray.
I can't stay behind!
With a battle cry, Bardock unleashed all his power. His fiery aura enveloped him in a higher golden glow. His energy increased to astronomical levels, propelling him towards a higher form of his race. Frieza, observing the transformation of the Saiyans, did not want to be left behind.
The time has come to show my true strength.
With a burst of energy, Frieza transformed into his golden form of maximum power similar to 100% full power. His body radiating a golden glow. His power multiplied several times, turning him into an unstoppable force that rivaled the sunlight itself. Cooler, feeling the energy surrounding him, decided to join the fight with all his might.
It's time to unleash my true potential.
With a flash of energy, Cooler transformed into his metallic form, his body glowing with a metallic luster. His stamina and power increased exponentially, making him an invincible force that would defy even the gods. With their transformations complete, the warriors of Thraxus Nocturne once again faced the shadow creature with renewed determination and a power that eclipsed any darkness. In the skies of Thraxus Nocturne, the battle continued as the transformed warriors faced off against the shadow creature, a being whose dark power threatened to devour everything in its path. With each of the warriors unleashing their full potential, the cosmos trembled under the force of their epic showdown. The golden aura of Turles, Raditz, and Bardock, combined with the imposing presence of Frieza and Cooler in their transformed forms, formed a dazzling spectacle in the night sky. Energy flickered around them, lighting up the darkness with golden and silver flashes as they prepared for the final showdown. The shadow creature, sensing his power of his adversaries, emanated a rumbling roar that echoed through the planet. His dark form seemed to twist and distort as he prepared for the final assault.
It's time to end this once and for all!
With a battle cry, Turles lunged forward. His speed increased by his Super Saiyan form. The shadow creature responded with an onslaught of dark energy, but Turles nimbly dodged it, moving with astonishing speed across the battlefield. Raditz and Bardock followed Turles' lead, attacking with relentless ferocity. Their blows echoed in the air, each one charged with the strength of his determination and the desire to protect his home planet. The shadow creature's attacks were swift and fierce, but the Saiyans deftly dodged them, responding with even more powerful blows.
Father, let's keep the pressure on this thing. We can't let it destroy our home.
I know. We're not going to allow this monster to destroy Thrax's Nocturne. Our power is more than enough to end it.
That's right. You taught us to fight with courage and determination. We'll not back down before this creature is destroyed.
Take this!
The shadow creature dodged Bardock's attack with agility, launching its counterattack with its sharp claws.
Careful, Father.
Don't worry about me. I'm more than ready for this.
And take this too.
Raditz's attacks hit the shadow creature hard, but it quickly recovered and counterattacked with a surge of dark energy.
Damn, this thing's tougher than I thought.
We can't give up now. Our planet depends on us.
You're right. Let's show you what we're capable of.
The two Saiyans launched into the air attack once more with renewed determination. Their blows echoed in the air, each one charged with the strength of his determination and the desire to protect his home planet. The shadow creature, although resistant, was overcome by the ferocity of the Saiyans. Turles, with his golden hair flowing behind him, launched a quick series of precise punches, each one carrying with it the power of his transformation into Super Saiyan. His movements were fluid and graceful, as if he were dancing around his enemy, dodging every attack with impressive agility.
There's no escape for you, monster! Your darkness can't compete with the power of the Super Saiyan!
With a battle cry, Turles lashed out at the shadow creature, striking with overwhelming force. Every blow resounded in the air, shaking the battlefield with its power. The shadow creature was fighting desperately, but its attacks seemed weak compared to Turles' ferocity. Meanwhile, Raditz and Bardock were continuing their assault on the shadow creature. Their attacks were coordinated and precise, each complementing the other in a deadly dance of destruction. The shadow creature found itself increasingly cornered, unable to cope with the combined might of the Saiyans.
Come on, Father. We know we can stop this thing.
I know, Raditz. Let's keep pushing until there's nothing left of this creature.
With renewed determination, the two Saiyans redoubled their efforts, launching a series of devastating attacks against the shadow creature. Each blow echoed in the air, carrying with it the weight of his determination and the desire to protect his home planet. Frieza and Cooler were watching the battle intently from a distance, their cold gazes evaluating every move of the Saiyans and the shadow creature. As the fight intensified, they noticed with increasing concern how the shadow creature began to gain more strength, releasing a dark energy that threatened to destabilize this situation.
It seems that the things are getting more complicated than I expected.
Yes, the shadow creature seems to be gaining ground. If we don't intervene soon, we could face an even more dangerous situation.
With a cold determination, Frieza and Cooler exchanged a glance before heading towards the battlefield. His presence made itself felt immediately. His overbearing aura flooded the area as they prepared to face the shadow creature.
Looks like we need to intervene before things get out of control.
I agree. We cannot allow the shadow creature to wreak more havoc on our planet.
With surprising speed, Frieza and Cooler launched into action, deploying all the power in an effort to contain the shadow creature. His attacks were precise and devastating, each blow carrying with it the weight of his determination and the desire to protect his home. However, the shadow creature was not going to be easily defeated. With a thunderous scream, he split into 4 separate beings, each one darker and more malevolent than the last. The earth trembled under their weight as they advanced towards the warriors, ready to unleash their fury on them.
It seems that this creature has more tricks up its sleeve than we thought.
It doesn't matter. We have our own tricks.
Well, guys, this is all for today's chapter. I hope you liked it and it was to your liking. Now, don't forget to leave your powerful like, Supreme God level, comment, and subscribe. Now, without further ado, see you in a new video. Until next time.